Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the channel tonight, where I am live with my friend CarChris, who is over. No, you're over that side on my screen. You're over that side. Yeah. So, good evening, all. Thanks for joining us. We've got plenty to talk about on the TTs this evening, as you can imagine.
To see if it's still doing the old stream or the new stream.
Yeah, it's the same stream. It's just.
Oh yeah, Rappy's put yes, it's all good.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all back, are we? Nice one, Rappy. Appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So, Chris, one thing that I've really noticed over the last few weeks, and this, I don't know if this is something you've noticed or picked up on, but a lot of TT owners, that these TTs seem to change hands quite a bit. There seems to be a lot of sales that come up. So, when we went to Simply Audi, do you remember that lovely, I think it was like an olive green Mark II with air ride? Well, I hope it had air ride or its suspension had failed, because it was
he's selling
on the grass. Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
No,
So
shocked,
Pepsi, that is. I don't know if you're on the stream, Pepsi, but yeah, I'd be interested to know what your next project, because I imagine you've done a lot of work on that car. So I'd be interested to know that if you've got another project coming up, and if it's a TT project, because that really sort of struck me, that car. And I was like, wow, what a great car. But then it's up for sale, like you say. And obviously, like, although he wasn't at Simply Audi, he had a ticket. It was of Steve Bridgen, we've talked about, with that lovely Mustang car. And again, I think Steve's got it to the stage. I mean, he'd done so much work. And when you bought those adjustable tie rod arms at that meet, at Dom's meet.
Yeah, that breakfast meet.
I remember Steve walking off with an armful of products out of that car, because he bought all sorts of bits to bolt.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and then literally he's got that car up for sale. So I would be interested to know what really drives people to sort of like do the work and then sell them, because I think if you've done all that work, I thought you'd want to keep onto it. But I guess it's also a case of, if you like doing the jobs rather than the end product, you always want to want that next project, aren't you? So
you want something else to do.
Yeah, but interesting to know if people move on to something other than TTs, or if they stay with TTs. So I'd like to know in the chat, guys, if you've got something big coming up for your car, can you let us know what it is? So, I don't know if you're putting air ride on it. I mean, that would be a great example. Or if you're really putting some serious change into the car, let us know, because it would be great to know what you guys have essentially got planned, because with the stuff that I'm doing, obviously, I'm just trying to keep my car as standard as possible, as we always say, as you know that, which is why I'm going to paint that bumper. But yeah, what have you thought about car price at the moment, Chris? Have you looked at any cars that are for sale, or have you noticed that any changes? Because I was talking to the guys yesterday about this, and how I think over the last year, the price of cars has gone up. Seriously gone up.
It has. No, definitely prices are going up. But I find, obviously these are getting old, isn't they? These Mark 1s.
Really?
I think a lot of people sort of like are weighing up: is it worth spending on it? Is it not? You know what I mean? Because things are wearing out, like power steering pipes and stuff. They're a pain to get hold of. You can still get new ones. I have seen them available. Bit of a pig of a job to do, I believe, but they're old cars. The things are wearing out. You start dropping your subframe, changing all your bushes. It's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to do that.
No.
Obviously, for us, we will.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. I noticed there was I think Jules had mentioned somewhere that sold all load of OEM parts. Anything you want, this guy can get hold of. And the name escapes me of the company. I think it was called something like CCE or something like that. Be interested to. So, Jules, if you're in the chat, if you want to drop that in there, because if they are, they've got all parts of that available. Like you said, Chris, some parts are hard to get hold of. But I think I mentioned before that I'm thinking about building up my own sort of stockpile of parts, like brand new parts, but keep them here, because, like you say, that when I did that rear suspension, I was speaking to a guy that had told me about replacing the bolts, and that you need to order those bolts. And I think the top bolts are pretty much you can get hold of, but the bottom bolts was stopping being made available, and there's a few sets left, and they were having to get them in from Germany. So I'm thinking, if I'm going to be swapping out suspension on the silver one, obviously, because that's getting a bit lumpy, on the suspension, a bit squeaky. that if I'm going to do the shocks on that, it's probably worth me having a couple of sets of bolts knocking around. So if I do it once and then I want to do the blue car again, because obviously I did the suspension on the blue car, and I put those 1206 I think, or 1260.
Was it the Monroe?
The Monroe's one, yeah. But obviously they weren't the OEM equivalent to what they recommend. I think they were sort of B21s or something. But I think those shocks, you can still get them direct from Audi. Well, I know you can because I approached Audi about them.
Yeah.
But they were a lot of money. But it's worth having those bolts if we want to swap stuff out.
No, exactly. I mean, I've been getting some bolts from TPS, which has been a lot cheaper. Like getting the same bolt. I was looking on eBay for bolts when I'd done my adjustable tie rod arms. Yeah. And the bolts, I think on eBay, some of them like 15 quid each and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was stupid. So obviously just went into the Audi Volkswagen garage next to work, who I know the people, and just got Dave there to order me some bolts. They were like £2.50.
It's nuts, isn't it? That's the thing, because I think
genuine bolts.
Yeah, because those bolts I bought for the suspension, they were 30 quid for the set. You know,
that's mad, isn't it?
For 4 bolts.
For bolts, I know.
It's like, how can you justify that? How's the feed holding up? What's the feed?
Right. So let's go back to the chat now. Si's put, you're both now in sync, which is good. Nice one, Si.
Cheers, Si.
Rappy's put down he's going to do a TTS brake upgrade. That's a good upgrade, nice. Rappy. But the question is, why are you not doing a TCRS brake upgrade if you're going to do the brakes? I don't know. Is there a lot different small things involved, a big price difference in doing them, or not much difference in gains? Would be interested to see. Si's also put he's never selling his. That's always good to hear.
Yeah, good
he's
work.
going to be respraying his seats.
Si sent me some pictures actually, because he's having all the bodywork dings and dongs knocked out of it at the moment, or he was having done. And it was interesting to, I think the garage, he uses a garage that's local to him and he has a lot of work done. And seeing the amount of work that's needed, you know, when you take the sort of the outer skin off almost of the damage, or the, you know, all the little dings and donks on it, and they were all marked up. I think it was his door he was showing me. It was all marked up. And there were like so many things that you wouldn't even realise are there that they're doing. So I think that particular car, the amount of work Si's has put into it, it will be like showroom standard.
Yeah,
and it's a manual. Although interesting.
Yeah, so it's rare as well. It's a V6, isn't it?
Yes. Now let's pull that subject up, shall we?
Oh no.
The whole I guess myth that the 3.2 manuals are rarer than the DSGs, because there's a few websites, and if they are to be believed, I think when I looked yesterday, there was something like 654 manuals left on the road and 641 DSGs. So
so they're sort of balancing them, they're about the same then.
But if we want to be all like splitting the hair over that, I'd say the DSG is actually more rare. But interesting that these websites, I don't quite work the maths out, because they do fluctuate, because obviously cars go on and off sawn. And I guess if you look at the figures, naturally, people drive them in the summer, so in the winter they sawn them, and then when they come out of hibernation, they put them back on the road. But I found those figures, and if they're right,
that is interesting.
Yeah, that it's quite weird, because the whole world of TT is always, you know, like there's loads of DSGs about. There's not many manuals about, and that's what people say. Isn't it? That's not me making up. That's what people say.
Oh, there you go.
But so I think Si and I had that chat when I was down there. When I picked up my 3.2 was the day that I saw Si, and we were talking about it. And but his manual is a great car. That's a great Avis Silver 3.2. So
let's go back to the feed now, Andy, because I know you can't see the feed at the moment.
No, so I'm flying blind at the moment.
Yeah, so Peter's put he's sold about 3 project cars before, and it's because of new challenge. I sold them. I had a Golf Mark 4 GTI, Fiesta Mark 6 ST, and an Alpha GTV, which I wish I'd never sold. So obviously, I think Peter obviously likes doing the work, and then needs to get his teeth into something else.
That's what I think it is.
It's understandable. Yeah,
people out there, you know, they like doing the work rather than when it's finished. You're a bit like, oh, well, what am I going to do now? So I applaud you for that, guys, if that's what you do. Because if you want to come around my house, I've got loads of projects you can help me finish.
Stephen Harper's put, would love to do a TDI swap, the TT Mk1. We have seen one of those at a breakfast meet, didn't we?
There was a Mk1 TD. With that monster air intake.
Yeah, that was it. We have seen it.
Yeah.
We have seen one of those.
Stephen, I am going to talk to you at some point offline about your stuff in Ireland, and we're going to do I think we'll do something like this. We'll do a TT meets TT in this format, because I think when it's not buffering, it works quite well. So, but obviously with the new technology coming, it'll be much better. So, but yeah. Yep. So
Phil 1969, evening chaps. Hi Phil.
Evening Phil. Good to see you.
Loden's doing a stage 1 remap this Saturday.
Ooh.
Is next. So yeah, that definitely makes stage 1 is your biggest difference you'll notice.
Yeah.
A lot more torque and stuff, but obviously don't go too high because those rods won't like it.
Yeah, because yours is stage 1, isn't it? Stage 1 remap.
Stage 2.
Oh, is it? I know you've got some stage 2 bits on it, but I thought it was a stage 1 remap.
Yeah, so Revo done a stage 2 map only because it's got a sports cat.
Right.
But it's a very low stage 2. It's basically stage 1. Okay. It's basically stage 1 figures, but they had to do it as a stage 2 because of the sports cat.
Right. I get you.
Yeah.
So interestingly, I was going to say to you, because obviously we looked at your gravity stuff when we did your TT meets TT Mk1.
We did.
And obviously when Alex and Neil were down yesterday, Alex has gone the Forge route.
He has, yes.
So he would be the man to speak to, Chris, because I know that's what you. Oh, have you? Okay.
I have.
I was going to say, because that's got the Forge intercooler and all the bits on it. So I think he had a Badger 5 tip on it as well, I think, if I remember rightly, yesterday.
Yeah, we've got the Badger 5. I've got the Badger 5 tip on mine as well.
Yeah.
The thing is, I do like the Forge stuff, and the Forge stuff's brilliant because it's all lifetime guarantee. You know it's going to fit. They put a lot of development. Yeah. But obviously, AirTech as well, also very good, and it's a bigger cooler. Yeah. It's a bigger cooler than the Forge.
One thing I noticed on Alex's car, which I thought was a really nice touch, and it might just be a complete coincidence, is his Badger 5 tip is almost exactly the same shade colour as the car, because he's got a Nagaro blue 225. So the Badger tip, it's almost exactly the same shade. And round his petrol cap, the bolts that hold the petrol cap in place, they're also painted blue, and they're not the same colour as the car. They're not Nagaro blue, but they look so close because they're set into that cap. It does look really cool. So
he has got a nice car, hasn't he?
Yeah. There's,
we both have. Both of them have got nice examples.
They are great cars, yeah. And obviously Neil's pole positions look amazing as well.
Yeah. Just get through these messages we've got here at the moment in the chat. Rappy's put down he's not going to do the TTRS because of the money. And the price difference between the TTRS upgrade and the TTS is to do a TTRS brake upgrade. It's £1,500.
Wow, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
That's a Mk1.
Yeah, exactly.
And the TTS is £700.
Right.
So it's basically half the price.
That is a lot of money. Right, so with the power of technology, I've now got the live chat up on my phone, so I can actually see what's going on.
You can see things now. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. So if I'm caught up, I can see that Phil 1969, you've got a 3.2 Roadster in Glacier Blue, a DSG box 53 plate. Would that be the most recent one? And then Peter's put Glacier Blue best colour underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm up to date, guys. I'm back in the chat. I say Howard's car, Howard Lee, who's on this chat as well. So obviously I spoke to Howard on Thursday night. He's got a Glacier Blue 3.2. So they'll probably be almost like twins together, I think, if you haven't done many modifications, because Howard's car is pretty standard. So yeah, that was all pretty good this week. Do you know what I was going to do? I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not, but I thought I'd go and take a Mark III for a spin, right? But I thought I'd do it and do a review of it, because I thought I'd like to see. Obviously, you've got the Mark II, and obviously we've got the Mark 1, so we can do a nice comparison of the Mark II by Mark 1. And we've said, haven't we, how the Mark II feels much more refined. So I thought, well, let's take a Mark III for a spin, and then we can see how refined the refinements have been. Let's see how far it's gone further. because the size difference in the cars. I noticed that at Simply Audi, the size difference between like a Mark 1 and then a Mark 3 looks like twice the size of it next in width as well.
It's a big jump up between the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. The 2 and 3 are very similar, but from the 1 to the 2 or to the 1 to the 3 is, Yeah.
So anyway, to cut a long story short, I got in touch with Audi. I thought, well, I'll speak to Audi. I said, I'd like to take a Mark 3 for a spin. But you have to do it all online. And so I was choosing options. And I was going, I'll take the TTRS and I'll do this. So the guy phoned me back and he said, I see you're inquiring about taking the TTRS for a test drive. I said, yeah, I'd be very interested in doing that. And he said, we haven't had one in stock for about 2 years. I was like,
really?
Oh, yeah. So that was quite interesting. I said, yes.
Did he have any R8s?
Oh, he didn't say. I didn't get down that road. I was like, what else have you got? What goes even quicker than that? But he said, he said, I said, well, I was quite interested in taking out a Mark 3. I explained. I said, I told a little white lie. I said, I've got 2 Mark 1s, which is true. And I said, I've also got a Mark 2, which is a complete lie. But Chris has got a Mark 2. I didn't say that.
It's basically the same then, isn't it?
Exactly right. I've got access to a Mark 2 if I need it.
Exactly. You've got access to one,
So I said, because I like to collect, Audis, I'd like to take them on free for speed. Anyway, so this guy must have thought, I'm not really buying this, but okay, if that's the way. So anyway, I booked myself in for a test drive this Thursday, but I've decided I'm not going to do it because I don't. What I'd like to do is because I'm sure they're going to sit in the passenger seat. Yeah. If I say to him, do you mind if I get my GoPro out? It might be a bit like,
Yeah. I mean, Darren, Rappy on here, he has a Mark 3.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can have a little chat at Springfest
have a little
then,
chat.
Rapper. Yeah.
I'm sure he's coming to Springfest, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, I think I've got his name down. So it is filling up quite rapidly now, though, guys, and we are still a few months away. So if you are interested, then please drop me an email at the. Hang on, if I do like that, look, the address on screen now. My hand's disappeared. Yeah. Anyway, the address on screen now. Drop us an email, and if you're interested, and we'll take some details. The way I'm going to do it is obviously I'm going to send out some invites so that you've got an invite for the day, so you know exactly who's coming and how many cars. Otherwise, it could turn into like tailbacks all the way back to the A21 if I get too many cars turning up.
And it's not the biggest road, is it, outside the front of yours?
Definitely not. No. Although talking about Badger 5. Well, I'm not talking about Badger 5, but Badgers. I did actually, I did feel rather guilty last night. I hit a Badger last night.
No.
Yeah, in my Mondeo, and it popped all the front of the bumper off. It's made a right old mess. It was only a little Badger, and I did feel really bad. And I kept saying to my wife on the way, I kept saying, I want to go back and check that Badger. And she's like, just carry on, it'll be fine. But when I got home, I looked. I was like, blimey, knocked all the. They must have hard old heads, those Badgers. So I did feel bad.
Oh, it did walk off.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it walked off. It felt the car was, unless there was a humpback bridge I went over at the same time. But bless it. But yeah, poor old Badger. So I did feel bad. So
So Alex has put here, it does fit, but not with the 3.2 bumper. I do remember you telling me about that, Alex.
Right.
That you had to do a bit of cutting and stuff. So yeah, it is obviously. I don't have the 3.2 bumper. Sadly, at the moment.
You had
to do it's going to happen.
You had to do some cutting on that bumper anyway, didn't you, to get that intercooler to fit? You butchered the back of it.
Oh, yeah. I feel I probably had to fit any intercooler behind it now. There's not much left of it behind.
No.
All around the grills are cut. The headlamp washers, they're not there anymore. They're in a box.
Yeah. I see Phil's put above that as well, being that his car's totally standard. So, Phil, I'm pretty sure you dropped me a message about Springfest. So obviously Howard will be here, so we'll have to try and get you two parked together. So you'll
that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so we get all those lined up. I don't know if we're going to categorise it into 3.2s or roadsters or coupes or modified and unmodified but we'll definitely do something. And
I think it's be how you turn up, isn't it?
Yeah, I had to. So this week, as you know, when we were looking at how cars would come in and go out on that bit outside of the house. So I've taken that big tree. Well, I had to take the tree out because it was dead, but I've taken it out this week. So
the one at the back.
One at the side of the house.
Oh, the one at the side. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we can probably get another 2 or 3 TTs down there now, I reckon, if we need to. So
what do you reckon the numbers we can get in there now?
Oh, I don't know. I'm still going.
You think you're 40?
No, I'm thinking 35. I reckon we could probably show on 40, and if we had to. But I'm just thinking, I'd rather have people, spaced out so we're not touching.
We
doors.
can all walk around them and have a look at each other and see what each other's have done.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. But obviously we are dependent on the rain staying away, because the last thing we want was a really wet July, so we're all having to use our quattro to get around the garden.
No, exactly.
I don't really want to end up in a quagmire in my garden. I'll have to get some matting down.
Yeah, we'll just get some carpet out, mate. Make it lovely.
Yeah, exactly right. And maybe I'll have it all astroturfed. Shall I have it astroturfed? No, I don't think I'll do
why
that.
not?
Yeah.
So, obviously, we spoke about doing that London to Brighton ride. We're going to do a trial run of that this Saturday coming up.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we'll let people know a bit more about that once we know more about that.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's not a number of people for that. Anyone's welcome. Mark 1s, Mark 2s, Mark 3s.
Yeah.
As long as it's a TT. All TTs welcome, and obviously more the better. So it would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, and I think we said that we're going to look to do that. Maybe I'd say probably now looking towards the end of the summer or into September. I think because we've got so much coming up. There's so many shows on every weekend, and the last thing we want to do is put people under pressure to go and, because the feedback we've had is everyone's up for doing this, aren't they? They all want to come and do the London to Brighton. So I think if we let everyone get their summer holidays out the way and all the various shows around the UK, obviously I'd imagine it's going to start quieting off. But there's a lot of cars that will go to sleep for the winter, and I don't want to miss out those guys coming along. So I think we're looking at probably early September before maybe once the kids have all gone back to school.
Yeah.
But I think looking at the Saturday and Sunday, I think it would be better to do it on a Saturday personally, because I think there's a lot of organised. Even into September, there's a lot of organised London to Brighton stuff on a Sunday. And obviously this is going to be a bit unofficial, isn't it? We're not going to be doing it down the official channels. It's going to be a load of us getting together, having a drive down there, stopping for a bacon sandwich at the Scout Hut at Gatwick, and then pushing on through to Brighton. It'd be nice to take the cars up Ditchling Beacon, because that's a nice old climb. Some great car parks at the top of it as well, so we can park up for some really nice shots at the top of it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I say we're
going to do a test run this weekend.
We will. Yeah, if I can keep my eyes open
together and stuff, isn't it?
So I think we're looking at getting up to Clapham like 5-6 in the morning, aren't we, to do it?
Yeah,
so we're going to miss all the traffic, get down to Brighton, have our breakfast, and then go home and go to sleep.
Exactly.
It's going to be a long old day. So one thing I've talked to a few people about actually, and I'm going to give it a shout out, is the motorist that's coming up on the 19th of July. We're going up, aren't we? That's the Sunday. So Jules Matthews has organised or spoken to the guys at the motorist, and I can't remember the postcode of it off the top of my head, but it's LS16, I think, if I remember.
I've probably got it somewhere.
Yeah. But that's so the motorist if you're not aware of it seems to be a really popular haunt for petrol heads, I guess you class them as, at weekends where people meet up. Then they do a range of food and breakfast and stuff.
Leeds? Is it in Leeds?
It's Leeds, yeah. It's Leeds, but I can't remember the name of the actual. It's not quite Leeds. It's near enough.
Yeah.
So Jules, if you're on, I don't know if you want to drop that in the chat and see what's going on, but
or even put it in the comments if you're not in the chat and you watch it afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely right. Leave us some feedback on it, but yeah. But yeah, see Si's talking about, you might not have heard us earlier when we were talking about Quattrophenia, Si, but yeah, hats off to you for that, because that is
well done, Si.
All down to you for that, because that is I think that is a great name for it. So yeah, we'll definitely be using that and getting some flyers made up, I think, for it.
Yeah, I mean it's something if it works out really well this year, then it could be something we do on a yearly basis. Which all TTs get together, we just do that run down together.
Yeah. I think
we spoke about other little trips as well. We like go around Wales, Scotland, and doing some good TT sort of like adventures.
Yeah, Howard mentioned about doing a Jolly Boys outing to Margate as well from London. So obviously, I guess I appreciate that these are all sort of like Kent, Sussex based things, and there's a lot of you guys aren't Kent, Sussex, but a lot of you aren't even in the UK. So that really sort of scuppers those things. But yeah, if we can get you guys. If you can think of some more local ones to you want to do, if there's some more northerly ones, or even there seems to be a lot of TTs, right? I don't know if it's my imagination, but everyone seems to live in Dorset. My car came from Dorset. Everyone seems to. If you look, there's a car for sale. it's endorse it. And I think, how many TTs are down there? Maybe it's a popular thing. I don't know. I had to I had a discussion with one of my guys at work last week about the TT, because he said, did you know that the TT was designed for ladies? It was the first car that was designed specifically for ladies. I think, where have you read that fact? Where have they read that fact from? Because there are a few ladies that have got these TTs, and we've seen them at the shows. But I think the majority of the majority of the cars that I've seen are owned by guys. I don't know where that whole myth comes from. Not that there's anything wrong with ladies owning a car anyway, if a car's been designed for ladies. But why would it? That sounds a bit of a sexist thing to put. I think it's been designed specific for ladies. But anyway, there seems to be a real whole stigma, doesn't it, around the TT? I think
the hairdressers' cars.
The hairdressers' car, yeah. Not that all hairdressers are ladies, I like to add. Because the hairdressers I go to are not ladies. So, the one hairdresser I go to is a lady because it's my wife. But but that's another story. But I suppose she is a hairdresser. I guess she class her as a hairdresser. She cuts my hair and she drives a TT. So
there you go.
There you go. She's not doing a lot for the stereotypical TT driver. But yeah, so what have you got planned coming up this week, Chris? What's your, other than our little jaunt on Saturday?
Just clean up the paint. Just generally check out what the situation is tomorrow. If it's come out well, just have a good clean up. If it's come out badly, rethink of what to do next. Whether to have another go or
would you
leave
be prepared to give if we had a go at doing the lacquer on that car? Do you reckon we could do that?
On yours?
No, on yours. I'm tempted to buy a compressor.
I've got a compressor.
Oh, of course you
have. And a gun.
Of course you have. Oh, let's go. Let's do it in your workshop then.
We can do. But I was using rattle cans.
Well, yeah. But that's the thing I'm thinking about. Because the thing about compressors are, you see these compressors that, like, other venues are available, but Lidl will have a special offer for a compressor on. Yeah. But it's down to the amount of PSI it puts out, and it's not suitable for doing spraying on. It's just it's not enough.
It's not consistent enough.
Yeah, you need a high pressure.
See, mine's quite a small compressor. I don't think it's consistent enough, even though it did come with a lot of accessories for doing painting and stuff like that. But I wouldn't trust it. Yeah. To be honest with you, but I mean, when I started doing that wing mirror, you talk about doing the lacquer peel.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought it's going to be very easy in it. I'm going to wet sand the old lacquer off.
Yeah.
And put new lacquer on.
Yeah, that's how you do it, isn't it?
Well, no, because by the time you've wet sanded the old lacquer off, you've pretty much gone through some of the paint anyway.
Yeah. You need to use a higher grit.
Well, I was using 2,500. I started with.
Oh, that's pretty high. Yeah.
Yeah. And sort of like you start off with like a small sort of patch.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you're sanding it back because you've got to try and flatten like the edges around where the lacquer bit's gone.
Yeah.
So then obviously when you put the new one, it all blends.
Right.
Then that patch just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and more lacquer just started lifting.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an issue in it when it starts doing that. That's not good.
I've got stuff on my roof to do as well, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to touch that now. I'll end up painting the old roof, wouldn't I?
So is it another myth? Is it another myth that the red cars peel worse than others? Is that a myth? Because
I don't know if that's a myth or not, because...
Or is it the colour? Maybe the colour shows the peel off more.
I think it's something to do with the pigment or something. I have heard it's something in the red paint where the lacquer doesn't, stick to you very well. But it could be a myth. I don't know.
What's your Mark II lacquer like? Is it lacquer?
I've got no lacquer peel on that at all.
Have you not? So the age difference between your Mark II and your Mark I is what? 4 years? Is it 2007 your Mark II?
Yeah, early 2008.
Okay.
So if you say
5 years,
exactly
5 years, max.
5 years. Call it 5 years.
Yeah, and there's no lacquer peel, guys. If you are Mark II owners, do any of you suffer with lacquer peel at all? And if any of you guys out there, Mark I's, have got lacquer peel, what colour cars are you driving? It'd be interesting to know.
The colours.
Yeah, I see Steve Harper said I drove the TT to all the farmer talks. I get some odd looks, but I tell them, lads, it's Quattro, so it's basically an awesome looking Jeep or 4x4. That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. That's what I try and say to people, that in the bad weather in the UK, not that we really get that much bad weather in the winter, but, you can take the car out and you haven't got to worry about it getting stuck somewhere. You stick your open the soft top, stick your skis in the passenger seat, and take it to the nearest hill and start bombing down there. I have done that. We did that in the 4x4 though, rather than the quad. But you could do it. I reckon that'd be doable, wouldn't it? So I'm not sure if it's got a PTO shaft though, has it, Steve? Has it got a PTO shaft? Because I don't think the it's not very good at like spreading manure and like hoeing your fields. I wouldn't have thought. I just suppose how much your wheels spin it, I suppose, would probably difference.
Exactly.
Oh, here you go.
Put some throw tyres on it.
Yeah, see, Peter's come back with old red colour cars seem to fade quicker than what I've seen. No, I think you're right. I don't think it is you. I think whether it's the case of the all paint, even though it's paint, is going to be a different sort of like physiological makeup, if that's the right word, isn't it, for what they put into it.
Yeah.
So maybe that is, reacts differently with the lacquer, doesn't hold it so well, or whether it's because of the colour of it, it naturally shows up those differences in lacquer peel. I don't know, and maybe that's why it looks so ropey.
Yeah, I mean that one we saw at the TT, mate,
which I think was Dom's old one, wasn't it? That red one.
That had terrible lacquer peel.
But the guy
had like sheets of it coming off.
Yeah, but I think the guy had said that it had been it was fairly bad, and I think he had jet washed it, and it just literally all just lifted and come off. So that's the thing with jet washing cars, is you have to be a little bit sensible if you're doing it, because you can do that, because the last thing you want is your paint coming off in sheets. Although I don't know if you saw my video this week I did on cleaning the petrol cap out, because that blue car was absolutely horrendous, that petrol cap. And when I asked about cleaning petrol caps out, or petrol, would you class that as the petrol filler hole? What would you class that as?
Yeah, it is the petrol filler hole.
It's got like a rubber, almost like butyl liner, isn't it, round the hole, so it doesn't get eaten away by the petrol spills in it.
It's got the overflow of the little drain bit in, isn't it?
Yeah, it has, and you've got to make sure that's clear, because otherwise it's going to fill up with just all sorts of junk. But people were saying they were hosing it down with a jet wash in there, and I'm thinking, hang on, that's water, and it's your petrol cap, and if there's any leak into it, then you'd be in a lot of trouble. But I also saw someone send me a little short video. He's actually pouring soapy water into it with the cap in place, obviously, so you haven't got that, because obviously he hasn't got one of my magical ping ball balls with the installation tape around it. But yeah, he left it in place and he poured it around, and that's how he did it. But I think you've almost got to have the recess in some sort of state before you do that, because if you don't, it's gonna you can't just do it when it was as crusty as my one. But it was that was a right old mess. But interestingly, a guy from Simply Audi, when I was there, he asked about the rear high level brake light. It's above that. There's like a recess that goes against the window, and even though it's against the window, it tends to get dust and crap in there. So if you've got your car spotless, it's still got rubbish in there. So when I looked at it, the guy said to me, I've tried everything to get this off. I can't get it off, and I want to clean. I want to hoover along there and get the dust out. Do you know how to do it? And I said, I reckon you're going to have to take off that whole sort of, what you class it as, like the rear boot trim.
Yeah, it's just a trim.
And I think Dom's done a video actually on removing the rear boot trim, because I think he replaced one of the saggy bits. Now, my worry is if I start taking that trim off, that I'm going to bust clips. It's not going to go back on right. All to get 2 dog hairs and a bit of dust out, which I don't really want to do. So
you get an airline in there?
No, I think it's literally that tight. But I spoke to Neil yesterday, and Neil's literally taken everything off the car at one point in its life, I think. And he said, no, you don't need to do that. Literally, either side of that high level brake light, there's like a clip that you poke in with a screwdriver, and I think it releases the clips, and you can just take it out. And I was like, brilliant. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to look at it. But so I think it was a guy in Brighton I was speaking to that had mentioned about that high level light. So to let you know, if you're on this feed now, I'm going to try that myself, and I'll let you know how it does it. But I know that's not really a mechanical thing, but it would help. I've got 2 little white dog hairs in mine. That's why I called it dog hairs, because the previous owner before the previous owner had a white sheepdog, and the car was full of white. I'm still finding white dog hairs all these years later, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. What else we got in the chat then?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Come on, guys.
So what else is anyone else must be doing something else to their car this weekend? Anyone doing anything tomorrow? Because obviously we've got a bank holiday here in the UK.
Are there any
Everyone
meets
out
on?
on any meets on?
Yeah.
What people's plans?
I'm going to the football, so that's not very interesting for TTs, is it? But but there is it'd be interesting to know what their bank holiday Monday is normally like like Quattrophenia, I suppose, isn't it? It's not Quattrophenia, but Quadrophenia. Running to the coast and doing that sort of stuff. So yeah, I mean it'd be interesting to know what people are doing. What are your mats like in your car now, Chris? I know you did do a little fix to keep your car mats down.
They have not budged at all, my friend.
Have they not?
They have not. They're perfect.
Yeah, I don't
think yours?
No, I think it might have come out actually. I have to say
they've been good.
They have held in place, but I did notice that the one set of mats needs to be completely replaced. So I want to get the stat. If anyone knows, guys, if you know where I can get OEM car mats for the front of the Roadster, then please let me know in the chat, because I would be really interested to know what's going on. So yeah. So going back to my the cars I've sort of seen last week, I saw Howard's, that sort of convertible 3.2, and the 225s yesterday. So I'm seeing a lot of cars at the moment, a lot of great cars. And it's really interesting to sort of like find out people's different journeys on it. So if you've got a car that you've got coming up that you think you want to do some work on, or you've got you may just have acquired, or you've got a project coming up that hasn't yet had the work done, so you have got a very raw looking battered TT, and you're on a journey where you want to restore it back to factory showroom, I'd be really interested in talking to you and following your progress, and maybe documenting on the channel, because I think there'll be people out there that are going to be in your situation, where those cars are really tired, they want to do the work, but they need to know how to do it. So if you've got a car like that you want to get on the channel, then do it. That green Roadster I looked at would probably have been a great candidate for that. But I think I'd end up sweeping up more bits in the garage than actually fixing it.
I reckon it might have turned into a parts car.
Yeah, exactly right. I think my Roadster's MOT is not far away as well, so I might be having to get that ready for MOT shortly. Yeah. There's a lot of jobs.
Andy, we've got a question here. Peter Loden. I need to replace the full carpet on my Roadster, but really don't fancy dismantling the whole car to replace it. Right. Well, we do have a how-to guide on our Facebook group, don't we?
We do.
Ben of the North has done that.
He has, yeah. So Ben has done a great video on stripping his carpets out. But interestingly, from what he said to me yesterday, he hasn't got the carpets back in the car yet. So he's taken them out. Not? No, he'd stripped it down. So I guess maybe he's not been using the car, because I imagine you need the carpets in to use it, really. So he's literally stripped it down. But you will have to get to the carpets out. You are going to have to strip the car near enough down. So that question there, Peter, you need to replace the full carpets. I think you're going to have to bite the bullet there, my friend, and do it, because you're going to have the seats out, centre console out, everything out. And being a Roadster, obviously I've got a bit of experience of stripping the inside out of the Roadster, because if you ever have to replace the hood on the Roadster, you can do it, guys, and it is a bit of a pain in the backside, but it's definitely worth doing. So if the glass goes on the Roadster and you need to do a hood, if you take it somewhere, you're looking at well over £1,000 to have it done. But if you can get a second-hand hood like I did and sort of do it yourself, but you need to take all of the rear panels essentially out of the car, which obviously hold the carpet. And I don't think really you could take the carpet out without removing all of that. I think you're going to have to lift those out to get the carpet out. You could probably loosen them and get the carpet underneath, but then you're going to get it back in, and you run the risk, if you're pulling panels that aren't properly out, of more breakages and bits going wrong. Yeah, so I definitely
say... Best do it properly then, really, isn't it?
Oh, Ben, we're just talking about you. You put even all. We're just talking about your great video on carpets. Did you say to me that you haven't put your carpets back in yet? Be interested to know if you haven't.
His ears were burning, weren't they?
I reckon. Either that, or he might have been lurking in the chat and then decided that he was going to make his presence known. But yeah. So obviously, Ben, we're going to see you in a few weeks at the Motorist. I hope that's been organised. So if I think you're going to be up there, so we talked about going up there and do a bit of a convoy for that. And I think from what I saw earlier, it's on from 9 till 3 on the 19th of June. Now it's a long way for us to go, so I'm not going to be getting there for 9 o'clock. But I think we should, when we decide,
we'll get there for 8 o'clock, won't we?
You might do, but I'm not going up.
We love an early start.
Well, yeah, I'll be training the night before, so I won't be off the
ice.
Yeah,
of course.
I won't be off the ice till like 11:45. So
I did take the next day off work as well.
Did you?
I did, the 20th. Which, you know, saying there's no one going driving to Leeds and back and then getting up early going to work the next day. That ain't happening.
You are right. I think that is a sensible one. But I think what we should do is we should decide that if we're going to go up in convoys, to let people know in the chat. Not right now, but we'll let you guys know either on our Instagram feeds or on our channels where we're going to meet. I think we're going to probably meet somewhere around South Mims. I spoke to Alex and Neil about it yesterday, because I think there's a few other people that are going to want to come up in convoy with us. So I think we'll do that. Maybe, I don't know what time yet, but what is it going to be from South Mims up there? Do you reckon a couple of hours?
Yeah, it's 220 miles from where I am. So obviously, minus getting up there, getting up to South Mims. What was South Mims last time? I think it was 60 miles. So 60 miles off of that. So
yeah,
it's gonna still be a couple of hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
reckon for me to get to South Mims, it's probably about an hour and a half from here, which I'm going to find out tomorrow because I'm going to Boreham Wood tomorrow. So to do that, I think if we'll work the times out, but I think we're going to need to allow a couple of hours to get up there. I'm not going to get up there for 9 o'clock. So, but maybe if it's like 2.5 hours, maybe we'll arrange to meet at South Mims at around, I don't know, 8 o'clock and get up there. We could make a fashionably late entrance.
We could.
Yeah, I'd say I won't be able to get up that early and get up there.
Yeah.
But
what are you taking? You taking the V6 or the Roadster?
That's the thing, isn't it? Because I don't know
what's going to be more comfortable for you to drive that long journey.
Do you know what? If I had to choose on comfort, I would take the 3.2 all day long. Because if I'm doing
the auto box,
if I'm doing if I'm doing if I'm doing a nice like cruisy ride, that's also got cruise control, whereas the Roadster hasn't. But it's middle of June, weather might be quite nice. Do I want the soft top down? I'm doing 70 down the motorway. It might be a bit noisy. Although it's not too bad. So when you've got the deflector up behind you and the windows up, it's quite nice. I find it a bit of a sun trap though, so I do end up with a sunburnt head if I'm not out with a baseball. I'll have to wear an Andycharger baseball cap maybe.
Well, there you go.
Or a CarChris one. I know I've seen a few CarChris ones.
Or a Springfest one.
That's a good idea.
Or a Quattrofenia one.
A Quattrofenia, yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Ben's just put Leeds to South Mims is 3 hours.
Oh right. Well, wow. Wow. We're going to be.
So that's going to be an 8-hour day of driving, I reckon.
Yeah, at least.
I think I might have to go for a bit of auto for that journey.
Yeah, I think maybe take the Mark II and I'll take the 3.2 because obviously you probably saw the video I did on the fuel economy on the 3.2, and I've done the same video on the 225 as well this week. I've just finished filming it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I'm not revealing anything right now.
No.
But
that'd be interesting to see.
It's coming. It is coming, and it was quite because I don't know if you noticed in my Instagram post this week where I'm giving it the big salute, where I managed to put the big boy pants on and take the Roadster over 80,000 this week. I've been nursing it for 79,998 it was on for weeks, and I haven't done. I think when you came down that time, I was saying, we took it for a spin down the road, didn't we?
That's it. And I think you had 4 miles to go or something then.
Well, we did 2 of those, didn't we? Yeah. And then I said, I'll save it I'll take the wife out with it. Well, I didn't. I took it down the road on my own in the end, but it was quite a moving moment to put it over 80,000. But now I've done it, I'm quite happy to use it again. It's bringing it back in the mix ready for summer. But so I did the little test this week, and obviously I drove up to Chelmsford to meet Howard at Highlands Park, and I've done. Well, I won't say how many miles I did it, but the results were quite interesting. And they were a lot closer than I thought they were going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be interesting, right? Because basically what you've done both of those now.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. So I want to obviously see your results.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what the 2-litre TFSI engine the Mark II will do.
Yeah,
compare.
I think we'll have to do that because I reckon your engine is much better economy than my engine because we've talked about what we're getting out of them, haven't we? And
exactly. Be interested to see how much better, or it might not be as much as what I think or we think. We don't know.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think the Roadster and obviously it's a 1.8 turbo, isn't it? We know that the 225 is a 1.8 turbo. And the 3.2 is obviously 3.2. So you've almost got like double the capacity of engine there. And people always say, oh, you don't watch the speedo, you watch the fuel gauge go down on 3.2. Well, I think you will all be really, really surprised by the results. And it shocked me. It really did. And I was like, oh, which one am I going to drive now? So that's all I'm going to say on the matter. So it's, yeah.
We're talking about MPGs, right? So I went up to Malvern Hills,
right?
Yesterday. So I done, was it 3? I think it ended up being about 315 miles all in. Wow. And I took the X5, 3-litre turbo diesel,
right?
47 miles per gallon.
Oh man, how'd you get that? How'd you get that out of a car?
Cruise control.
Mate, were you getting out and pushing it down the hills?
No, I was just sitting at 70 the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. It was brilliant.
Well, none of us go over 70 anyway, do we?
Because a lot of people will go, oh, no, you need to get rid of that. Because obviously it costs a lot of money to fill it up. It's like 160 quid to fill it up.
It's pricey on the tax as well.
Yeah. It's not too bad because it's under a certain age.
Yeah. Well, how old is it?
2003.
Okay, so it's not too pricey. Okay,
I think it's about 30 quid a month in road tax or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So no worse than what a Mark 1 TT is.
I was going to say this. It's on par with a TT there, isn't it? Yeah. So they're that's the thing, isn't it? It's the road.
It's just the price of how much diesel costs. That's what gets you.
It would be interesting to do a little project actually on the year in the life of a TT. I think. Oh, what a good idea for a movie! Is the annual costs of a TT, just the general running of the weekend car? Because when I bought the Roadster, the old couple that I bought it from, they said they couldn't justify because the mileage on it was going up. When I look at the old MOTs by maybe 150, 200 miles a year for quite a few years, so they were literally just popping to the shops in it, and they said that it was costing them so much money, it wasn't worth them having the car. And I said, thinking, what do you mean it's costing you money if you're not using it? But, you look at the insurance, you look at the tax, you look at the MOT and the servicing. So even if you're not really using it much, you still need it serviced. So they were saying it was costing them $1,000 a year to sit on their drive.
Really?
And I would say that's probably about right. I think a TT is going to cost you about that. And if you think about it, road tax is probably about 270, 300 quid, whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Your insurance, depending on what your insurance category is and what you've done, maybe at best a couple hundred quid or 160 quid. So there's 500 quid gone. Yeah. We'll chuck in a service and an MOT and a little dab.
50 quid for an MOT.
Yeah.
Another couple hundred quid for a service.
Yeah, you are pushing up there already without putting any fuel in the car or taking it anywhere. So, I think they are. That's the thing when people buy these cars, and I think that might be why a lot of them come back up for sale so quick. I think people buy them, they think, oh, I'm going to drive that around for a little bit. I know that because one of my mates bought a Roadster exactly the same as mine, and he only had it for a few months because he just wasn't getting the use. He's got another car, he's not getting the use out of it, and like you said, it's just sitting there costing me money. And I thought, you are right. So you've almost got to say, whatever you pay for your TT, I'd say at least set £1,000 a year aside just for keeping it on the road, even before you use it, any miles. And you've got to factor that in, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, no, I do, definitely.
Any car's going to be the same, isn't it? But you are going to need to do that. But
yeah, I think £1,000 a year, I think that's fair to say. Cause even if like your insurance and your tax, everything is slightly less, you've got to be, it will need something that will take it up to that 1,000.
Yeah.
So I think 1,000 safe. And that's not used as on an everyday basis. That's actually without fuel, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, that's not it's not ever using it. That's almost £1,000 to keep it in your garage.
Yeah.
Or you
just to have it.
Yeah, and obviously you could sawn it for 6 months and save yourself 170 quid or whatever. You know, if you were not. So if you're not going to use that car, and you're just going to put it on the TT circuit for taking it to shows and stuff and enjoying it. But again, you've got to have the space to keep it off road. So you need it in a garage, or you need it on your. If you're Stephen Harper, need it on your farm. So I presume yours catch on that. I say he's just put 80,000. Come on, I've got to get to 85. Oh, 85 more. Well, I'd like to look at 85 more. I know, but what I do notice on it now, it's over 85 more because I forgot to get a picture at that point because I think I was driving at that point, so obviously I couldn't take a picture. But
how many miles did it have when you got it?
My Roadster.
Yeah,
I think it was 76 when I got it. So I've
how long have you had it for?
4 years. So I've
you haven't done many miles on it, have you?
No, I know. I'm not that little old couple. And do you know what? I've done as many miles, I think, in the 3.2 since I've had it as I've put on the Roadster. Literally.
Really?
Yeah. Because I just can't stop driving that 3.2. So if anyone ever says to you, what's the 3.2, no, 225, 3.2, I can't stop driving that 3.2. The sound it makes is just amazing.
You do like the auto as well, didn't you? You like the DSG.
Yeah, I take it to work. I've taken it to work a couple of times. But the way I look at it is it's costing me £30 to drive it to work. Plus the dart charge. So it's 35 quid to go to work. Do I want to do that? Not very often. But it's nice.
Just work from home, innit?
It's much cheaper. It's cheaper to work from home and go out and polish it in the morning instead. That'd be a much better way of doing it. Yeah. But I mean that paintwork on that we're talking about paintwork and lacquer. That 3.2, that paintwork is pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think it must have lived indoors quite a bit because it's there's no lacquer peel anywhere on it. So whether again maybe the Mauritius blue is not a peeler, the red one's definitely a peeler. But
the red ones do peel.
Yeah, they do.
Which is a shame.
Yeah. Although you're gonna find that out maybe, but you've got yours in the workshop, haven't you? So that's now it's not going to be exposed to the elements anymore, is it? So
it shouldn't be getting any worse.
No, definitely not.
It'd be interesting to. I'm actually looking forward for getting to the workshop tomorrow morning, just to see how that mirror's come out.
Yeah. So you've got no idea what that's looking at right now.
When I left it. It looks like I literally just put the last coat on it, and I knew I couldn't do anything else to it that night because obviously it takes 24 hours for it to start hardening and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was literally a quick get those coats of lacquer on, see you later. Because if I stay there and look at it, I'm going to start, I might break something on it. Let me just touch that bit there. Let me just touch that bit there to see how it's done. Sake. Let me just leave it alone and get out of there.
Do you know what though? When I don't know if you in your video, I don't know if the people have seen the marks that were there when you did it the first time because you had that almost like spider, like a spidery crazing, wasn't it, in those places? And it's weird. I reckon. I'm sure
I haven't got that now.
I'm sure it'd be perfect this time, mate. I'm sure you've done a great job on it. But again, it's all trial and error, isn't it? What's it cost you? A can of spray paint?
Well, a few cans of spray paint.
Yeah.
I've done it twice.
But you were going to do it once anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got wipe that one out of the equation. So what's it cost you more? So if you took a wing mirror to a spray shop and said, I want it painted in red, TT red. Even if you're having a little mirror, they're going to charge you 100 quid at least.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Probably a lot more than that. And if you haven't done the prep work, they're going to charge you a lot more, aren't they? So they can definitely do the prep work. But
my rear spoiler on the Mark II cost me 300 quid to get painted.
How much? 300 quid.
300 quid.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I think the body shops are basically it's £300 a panel.
Yeah.
And I think a bonnet's like 500 quid.
Yeah. Well, that was my thought behind buying a bumper, because that back bumper, I thought, do you know what? I can get a bumper off eBay or wherever for 100 quid probably for a 225. And if I get a decent one, then, you know, I don't need to get the other one painted, or I can at least use that as a canvas to have a go on it myself. But that whole principle got blown out of the water when the one I went to look at, because the guy went, oh, it's immaculate, there's not a mark on it, it's, you know, I said it needs to be spotless because my one's good, and this guy's going, oh, it's spotless, there's not a mark on it. Literally, I got there and it looked like it had been, well, attacked. It looked like it had
not as described.
Not as described. Yeah, I don't want to go too far on it. But if I said it looked like a group of school children use it to kick the living daylights out of, I wouldn't be wrong. It was scratched and scuffed, and there was a lump out of it. There was actually a gouge out of the plastic as well. So not only would I have to have painted that, to have filled it, I said, mate, I've come here to buy this bumper, and you told me it was like immaculate. He went, oh yeah, it's got a few marks. Well, that's what I said to you. Has it got any marks? Anyway, I didn't buy it, but I'm thinking, would I be better to buy one that is A1, maybe pay another 50 quid that's spotless, you know, and then not pay £300 to have it done, or would it be better to invest like 20 or 30 quid into some spray paint and some, you know, primer, a bit of lacquer?
Yep. I could probably sort you out some stuff, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I don't really want a red bumper though.
No. But I've got some primer. I've got some plastic primer.
I have some too from the Sportage bumper I did.
Okay.
So I've had a bit of practice at bumpers already.
Okay. You're a pro. We done no problem then.
Oh, mate, yeah, in January when it's like wasn't really the right conditions for spraying, but I did it. I'll see how it comes out. I see we've got a few things in the chat now. So Ben's saying his 3.2 miles per gallon is horrific, but it is. I agree, it is the sound. So I drove it through the Dartford tunnel, and I purposely backed off and slowed right down and let the car in front get a little bit ahead of me, and then gave it a bit of I thought, yeah. And that's what Howard said, the same thing. He said it's the sound it makes in the tunnel. It is pretty cool. You know, it is a pretty cool sound.
It's a good sound out of them, isn't it?
Yeah. So Red Pole has said, where can I get the LED fixed? I presume you mean the instrument cluster, the little LED in the dash. So there's a few places you can get that done. So I had mine done by PBH Electronics, I think, and they were based a little bit north of you. I think they're more like Wiltshire way, but they literally, that service I did, I had to take it out of the car myself. So I've got a video on the channel about that if you want to check it out, to take the cluster out. And I sent it off on a Tuesday morning. I booked a courier, and it went Tuesday morning, and it was back in my house within 48 hours, which I think is damn good. So it went off in DHL. The guy did it next day, did it back, got it back to me. It was back to me before 10 a.m. on the Thursday. So to have that turnaround, it was £16 for the courier, and the job was 80 quid. So for 96 quid, I've had the LCD or the LED.
That's not bad.
Yeah, exactly right. But there's also another guy who is on the forums, and I know that Jules will be saying, oh, you, Sean, don't forget about Sean. But Sean Blenko on the Facebook groups, he is also highly recommended. I think Dom did a video with him, actually. I think he's quite close to where Dom lives.
Right.
But that was also, I think he might be, it might be around the same sort of price. I don't know, but I've had some really good feedback. Now, I need to do my second LCD LED on the 3.2. It's got one line missing. Whereas the one on the Roadster was like pixelated to death, but this is only one line missing. But I'm thinking I might give Sean a shout and get him to do it, and then I've got a good comparison then, haven't I? But the only downside I'd say to that one I had back from PPH is I think there's definitely some fingerprints on the inside of the glass. So I just need to take it off, which you'd hope that would have been cleaned out, but I need to take it off. And obviously I can take the glass off myself, but I need to take the cluster out and just clean them off. So that was any downside about it. But just being honest about it, I will be honest about jobs I've had done, because like my wheels, I'll be
your wheels are wonderful.
Don't start me on the wheels, but I'll start twitching. But I'm running out of drink. I need more drink.
What's the name of that company that done your wheels?
I can't mention them, Chris. And the amount of people that have said to me, tell us who it is so we don't go to them and avoid them. All I'll say is they're a really big company in the southeast that do a lot of work on refurbing. And they really, really, really didn't do a good job. But that's another story for another day. Yeah, so
it wasn't shit or polish, was it?
Can't say that, Chris.
I was just asking.
No, I can't give out any information. So Frazzle Dog said, I did 800 miles in my Roadster last year. Was going to sell it until it went out on it. It went for today for a blast. Put a smile on my face. So worth $1,000 a year. Absolutely right. And I think right underneath that, Sires said, agreed. Life's too short to drive a boring car. Yeah,
absolutely.
And these cars are great fun, aren't they? They always put a smile on your face when you're giving it a bit of right foot down the road. So yeah, I totally agree. They are worth every penny that we pay on them. You know. It's not
a money car, is it? It's just a car that you enjoy, isn't it?
I think that's the big thing about them now is they're so accessible because you think what you're getting, right? So let's say you're going out to buy a TT tomorrow, right? You're going off to look at one, and even though the price has gone up a bit, if you want to pick up an absolute dog that's been battered around, you could probably get one for £800. You know, a really bad one. It might need a bit of work done on the engine. Or you could probably spend a bit more and you could pick up a nice 225 and maybe coupe for probably about £2,000. Right now, a Roadster, I would say, the weather's getting better. People are going to start wanting soft tops. They're going to start going up a little bit right now. So it's probably not a good time to be buying a Roadster if you're in the market. Although Dom's just picked one up, and I noticed he bought one.
He has,
and he's on his market, but I'm sure he got a good deal on it. But if you were looking to get a Roadster right now, you know, you might pay a little bit more than the coupe is. But for the money you're paying, right, the car you are getting, the performance you're getting for that money is crazy. Because you're going to go out. So my daughter's learning to drive at the moment, and we paid more for her 2010 plate Fiesta, her 1.25 Fiesta, than we paid for the 3.2. Right?
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. So her 97 brake horsepower car, which has got 150 less brake horsepower than the 3.2 and was more money. Where's the logic
and it's not
that?
four-wheel drive.
Yeah, and exactly right. Yeah, it don't look as cool. So I'm sure that'll be the Gate Guardian. We'll have it out front when for TT Fest, for Springfest. Watch out for the Fiesta. But yeah, it's mad, isn't it? The performance you can get now for such little money. And once you've got that sort of basis, if you're into modding and getting more performance, for very little money, you can soon get your 225 up to, 250, 260, would you say?
Yeah, you do it with a stage 1 map.
Yeah, so what are you going to pay for that? A couple £100?
Yeah, a couple £100.
And then...
£300-400 for a good one. But prices vary. Anything from £200 upwards.
Put a stage 2 map on it, bend all your rods up. Need a new engine?
Yep, bend your rods up. Happy days.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. But yeah, you know, you are going to
get your rods done.
Yeah, absolutely right. But I say we talked about, you know, buying a car and £1,000, but we probably want to talk about things that you would, if you are looking to buy a car, if you are going out to look at a car tomorrow, what are the sort of things that people are going to need to do straight away? So they've bought the car and they've brought it home. So what jobs, guys, would you recommend people need to do? I mean, if you've got a 225 and it hasn't been done, you want that timing belt done straight away.
100%.
Because
oil pickup pipe.
Yeah, you're a massive advocate for that pickup pipe.
Yeah.
Still got to do mine. I'm going to watch your video on that because you have done it. Well, so I'm going to watch your video on it. I'm going to invite you around for a bit of dinner and then you're going to do my pickup pipe. That's my plan. No, I would do it, but I would appreciate your expert guidance on it so I know I'm doing it right.
I'll come around and go through it with you.
Yeah, it's as I said to you before, it's talking up the talking up that sump again. That's the bit that worries me.
It's getting the right amount of sealant on the sump as well.
Yeah,
you don't want to put it all in, torque it all up, start it up, and it starts leaking oil.
Yeah, am I right in saying it's not a physical gasket? It's like a liquid gasket.
Yeah. Sealant, yeah.
Because I can remember doing the old manifold, not the manifold gasket, the rocker cover gasket on my Escort back in the day, and it was a cork gasket.
Yeah,
but you put like a little bit of sealant around it as well, like a blue, like gummy sealant. But I think things have changed quite a bit since then, haven't they? So
Craig Balls put the what's we got here? We got
power steering pipes.
Power steering pipe. Yeah, they do rot. They do go. Clutch pedal. Absolutely, the clutch pedal. I've done that on mine. I've had that reinforced. I've got a video on that being done. He's whipping it out. What a horrible job to do, but only got to do it once.
Yeah, just seeing there. I've missed a few sort of like a message back through, but I say Ben's mentioned about getting the car de-resonated, and you don't need the tunnels to make a sound. So that's I would be interested when we meet up at at the motorist, Ben, I wouldn't mind going for a spin with you in the car and having a listen to how yours performs. Red Pole said a 225 with 52,000 on a 52 plate in a garage for $7,500. And an S-Line, same year, 55 for 6.5, all immaculate original. That is fairly low miles, that, 52,000. And I could tell a story that would make me cry, so I'm not going to tell that right now. But about cars and about mileage on TTs, because I always regret not doing it. But that's another story. PCV and water pump. Yeah. So I think if you're doing that, belt, you would get the water pump done at the same time anyway.
And a new tensioner.
Yeah, new tensioner. Because they give you an option at some of these places. Do you want a belt done? Yeah. Do you want a water pump done? Well, they should be done together for definite.
Yeah, they should be.
And
all
the
the time.
tensioner will be an extra few quid. Absolutely get that done at the same time. It's definitely worth that.
100%.
Yeah. Craig's put and the clutch pedal, but you've done a video on that, haven't you? Fixing the clutch pedal.
I've done the clutch pedal. Got a video on that. Yeah, that's done.
I need to inspect mine actually and have a look at that, because you said to inspect. Obviously, I'm not going to have to look on the DSG because I haven't got one, but on the Roadster, I'll definitely have a look at that, because it could.
The thing is, by the time you've looked at it, you might as well just whip it out and do it.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Because you've got to take all the lower part of the dash out.
Yeah.
So you got the lower part of the dash, then you got to get all the other bits out of the way to get to the pedal, to look at the pedal, and it's just one bolt away from just taking the pedal out.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And a horrible little white plastic clip.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. What's your favourite design feature of the TT? Like specific little what have you had, Chris, that's made you go, oh, that's nice? Because I've got one. I've got a great one, which people are going to go, is that it? But what's your favourite?
On the Mark 1, I like the stance of it at the moment, because I've done the spacers on the wheels.
Yeah.
And I was going to change the wheels. I probably still will change the wheels, but I do like the wheels it's got.
Yeah.
And I think where it's been lowered and everything as well, it just seems to sit really nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like a car that it fills the arches, it looks good. Both of mine are like that. But I've got a picture of it up there just in front of me now, and I'm thinking, do you know something? Yeah, it looks good. I also like seeing the front mount behind the front bumper.
You're looking up, like, are you underneath are you in your workshop? Are you looking up it on the ramp? It's like, I've got it up on the ramp, and I'm just like...
I'll show you.
All right, show us what you got. Show us what you got.
So, what I'm looking at... I don't know if it's going to cut. No, it doesn't cut because my background's in the way.
Oh, right.
Of course, it's not going to work.
Of course, it's not going to work. No, okay. Well, that's all right.
I've just got the pictures from Simply Audi. We got those pictures. Sarah Jane
yes, you did. Yeah, you bought those pictures, didn't you? I didn't.
So I've got those pictures on my wall in my study.
Nice. Looking the business. So, guys,
let's have a little look at them.
Guys in the chat. So, what are your what would you say are your favourite design features of the car? So, the thing that's one of the things that people always mention is the little secret sun visor that sits behind the mirror. That's like a nice little feature. But do you know, my favourite thing of all of that Audi is the tweezers for the fuse box. That blew my mind. Do you know what? That absolutely blew my mind. Because before, and obviously I'd done a video on the fuse box, but when I was looking for the fuse box, I thought, I know it'd be under the bonnet. Oh, it's not under the bonnet. Oh, I know it'd be in the glove box. Oh, it's not in the glove box.
Yeah.
So then I found out, oh no, it's sitting behind that end panel.
Yeah.
On the end of the dash, and I popped it out. And to be honest, even though they're right smack in the middle in front of me, where the little white tweezers, and I looked at it and I thought, my God, have you got to have the smallest fingers ever to get a fuse out there? And then I looked, oh no, it's got a set of special Audi tweezers for taking the fuse out. And I thought, that is absolute design genius. But I also thought, I wonder how many people have lost their white tweezers on that panel.
Definitely.
I'm still quite happy to have that. But it's got like the first aid kit. I mean, it's got its own little first aid kit. I mean, it's how many other companies have got their own little special? Well, there's probably a lot of them now, but back then it was a great little feature.
Yeah.
And the warning triangle as well.
Yeah.
Most people have to go to Halfords and buy one, but that's got it's got.
You got a little first aid kit as well.
Yeah. I mentioned the first aid kit. So
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's like what was that game show? Not Opportunity Knocks. The generation game. First aid kit. Triangle. What else? Sunriser. White tweezers.
Oh,
I think what else about? Yeah, nuts. Fuel cap. So Craig Bell said, "Oh, yeah." So Si said the gear knob. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That's. Although, don't you think it should really be in a Golf because it looks like a golf ball? But I always think it's like. I wouldn't know because obviously I haven't got a gear knob in my 3.2, but obviously my Rose Drive, but even that's an upgrade feature, isn't it? Because then you get the old style one where it's the same shape, but it's got the black bottom on it, whereas the newer ones have got. Weren't you polishing your knob, Chris? Did you not say?
I did polish my knob, so I removed my knob. I did speak to Si about it, so I told him I would try and do a video on it. Yeah, so I took my knob off and took it in home. So obviously it get quite cold sitting outside on its own.
Right.
So I brought it in and I started sanding it all back. So must have some sort of lack or something on it.
Right.
So I sanded it all back and then just.
Sanding a knob don't sound good, does it?
No, it was
a lonely knob. So you left it outside, did you say? Was it lonely?
Yeah, it was outside. A little bit painful sanding it back.
Yeah, I imagine.
But yeah, I've done that and then I used the really fine sort of wire wool.
Yeah.
Just to get it like really nice, and then I just used some metal polish.
Yeah.
To get it right up, and then just screwed it back on.
Bit of brasso.
Yeah.
Polish it out. Was that? Did you do that rather than polishing compound? Did you say to do it? Was that better?
Yeah, exactly. I just used the metal polish. Oh, that's gonna. Yeah. That's what I used.
Yeah. Brass. Is it brasso? Metal.
Auto Sol.
Oh, Auto Sol. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the stuff. So back in the day when you had chrome bumpers on the car, that Auto Sol, you used to put loads of that on it and polish it out. That make you give yourself blisters on your hands. But yeah, that's I do. Polishing the knob. Yeah. And so the fuel cap. Yeah, that's also a great feature.
Yeah, I think that's a good feature.
When it's clean. Do you know what I also like about it is the fact that they take that that design of like a round circle with the dots on it. So like on the doors, you've got the little the handle you've got there, and then even on the cup holder, you've got those little silver ends on the cup holder that match it. And and the fuel cap sort of like does it as well. And there's lots of like repetition of a design feature all the way through it. But I remember, I think it was Richard George with his red Mark 1. He said to me that that the TT was designed by two guys, don't you? And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, there was the guy that designed the car in the morning, and there was the guy that designed the car in the afternoon. He said the guy that designed the car in the morning was obviously knew what he was doing, so we'd do it all, and then he'd go to lunch and he'd leave his apprentice to work on it. So his apprentice designed the headlights because he thought it'd be a really good idea that you had to take the bumper off to take the headlights out. I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
Oh, no, that's a stupid idea.
And I also thought the apprentice must have designed that little high-level brake light when I was thinking I've got to take all that internal trim out to get to it. But knowing that I can now use a screwdriver to give it a little jab and poke it out, then that's pretty good.
No, definitely.
Oh, what's Ben put? Can't put the video for polishing your knob on YouTube. Well, you could, but it would probably be taken down, I would have thought.
Yeah,
but
that's for your OnlyFans. Yeah, that will be going on the OnlyFans.
Chris has got an OnlyFans. It's got it's a very specialist market where I film him having a wee in the countryside. By accident, I might add, when we were filming Side's car. Oh, no, Toby's car. Toby and Side's car.
I'll tell you another good thing, actually, I do like about the TT, which you don't really get in any cars.
Right. The
little flap that covers the stereo.
Oh, yeah, it does hide it away.
How cool's that?
Yeah, the thieves would never think to look there, would they? Where's the stereo? No. Oh, it's not... oh, there it is.
But I just think it's a cool little design thing. It says TT across it. I just think it looks brilliant.
I think it does. I think it's a great feature. The one thing I think that lets it down a little bit when it comes to sort of, not that those sort of things were around in those days, but like the cigarette lighter, if you've got like a Bluetooth receiver for your radio, because I've got one in both the cars, because I think that's adequate for what we want. No, what is it, a tenner from online, and you can link your phone to it and play your music, but you can't get the little drawer shut over. You can't get the drawer shut because it pokes out too far. So what they need to do, they need to invent a Bluetooth receiver that literally is the same size as a cigarette lighter, rather than the big old wedge on the end of it.
Yeah.
Because then you could put it in the cigarette lighter hole, shut it up, and off you go.
Yeah.
Happy days. So if someone out there wants to, or knows, if someone out there knows of a Bluetooth receiver, you can actually shut that flap, please let me know, because the one I've got is massive and it's just makes me leave me flap down, so to speak. but that flap is a great idea.
It's a lovely flap.
It's a lovely flap. And the Roadster's got two little hidey holes on the back of it as well. So behind the front seats, you've got the one for the one's got the CD changer in it, in the first aid kit, and the other one's where you can get to your old your bonnet release. But it's also lockable, so you can put your valuables in there, so the thieves can't, they'll rip your glove box off looking for your valuables. So lock them both, and that give you a bit of time to get back to your car. But yeah, they're I know that. Yeah, Si said that to me when we met up. It's a whole piece of Bauhaus art. Yeah, it is. It is a piece of art, and it's been designed to look at it and go, oh, that's nice. Look at those lovely tweezers. That's what I say. It is. It's an amazing car. The curves on it get me. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. And I've always said that, and I do get shouted down by sort of much bigger YouTubers than me, because I think it looks like a Porsche, and I do think it looks like a Porsche. So if anyone wants to shout me down, I don't care. I still think it looks like a Porsche. Not an R8, not an R8. Not an R8,
but I think it's like a Beatles love child.
Yeah, it does. Exactly right. It looks like a little Porsche. And do you know what? When you put some people have put those Porsche wheels on. Do you know those Porsche wheels?
Yeah, the Porsche turbo wheels? Rims and stuff.
Yeah, and you have to almost like double look at it. You think, is that right? And it is. It makes it look like a. I think it makes it look like a. Yeah. I'm not saying a poor man's 911, because I think you can probably pick up a cheap 911 nowadays anyway. But I love my TT. I would like a 911 as well to put in the garage, just so I can compare the two. So if anyone's got an old 911 knocking around they don't want, then send it my way. But
I had a Boxster S once.
Oh, what's that? Craig, you're talking to Audi Lee yourself. Do you know what? I think Ben, you had a hard top for sale at one point. I don't know if you sold it or not, but I don't think they hang around for too long. Hard tops for the Roadster. But it's I think it's a bit of a ball ache, because you have to take one off to get the other on, if I remember rightly, or you have to fold it in completely.
I do.
Yeah, I think you have to almost like fit the hard top on. It's like not like an easily like pop on pop off thing, which you think it should be. Did you see that? Talking of Roadsters, did you see that car? I think it was a concept car someone was asking about on Facebook yesterday, where it's like I think they call it a skylight.
That was it. Yeah, and people say no, it's a Targa. I go no, Audi actually called it a skylight.
Yeah, like a Targa top TT.
Yeah,
but I was thinking, and then someone was saying, "I'm going to give that a go," or I'm going to do that. I was thinking, and someone said you'd have to use a Roadster for the template. I think, well, you can't, because on that picture, it's a coupe back, isn't it? It's got like the hatchback back. It's not like the little boot.
Yeah,
and obviously you haven't got the back window on a Roadster. It's all part of the hood. So you couldn't. But I also get that the Roadster's already strengthened underneath to do that.
That's the thing, isn't it?
But
what would be the best way about going about it? I mean, I suppose you can always strengthen something underneath, can't you?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's what you'd have to do. But obviously, the structural integrity of that car, a lot of that's going through those pillars in the roof, I would have thought, isn't it, to stop it from folding up. But it's also
Should we try it with your 3.2?
No. Definitely not. Definitely not. You know that I have got a plan, though. I have got a sneaky TT plan. What I want to do to a TT. You were talking about that guy was talking about doing a diesel one. Well, I say we. I'm saying like me and Chris want to. I want to do it, and I'm trying to talk Chris into it. I think we should definitely do our little project idea, or look into it. We won't reveal it, but I think we should definitely look into that and see if that's possible.
I've actually found some little parts that keep on coming up, right?
Yeah.
From like Alibaba sites, we can get like a whole kit to do like a conversion.
Can you? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, so I thought that might be quite interesting. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that that little Citroen Ami I saw the other week. That was essentially what well, I can't go too much, but that's what I was thinking about doing down it because that would give too much away. But I think it's obviously possible. I think there's a lot of planning we need to do to put into that. But I think it would allow us to keep a TT on the road if we did that. So, so Ben's
either that or ruin it.
Well, yeah, it would do that. Yeah, so Ben sold that hood, that roof, so he hasn't got it. I bet you made some money on it though, Ben. I bet you've made some money on that because I think that was there was a diesel Mark 1 at Stamford Hall. Right,
yeah,
Craig,
it's the same one.
Is it that same one?
I think it's the same one.
Absolute beast of an intake on it. It's got like it looks like it's got a watering can coming out the engine, doesn't it? That's what it looks like at the end of it.
I think it's a 1.9 PD lump under the bonnet.
Yeah.
How was Stamford Hall anyway?
Yeah, guys, let us know. I think Don was there, wasn't he? Did he go to Stamford Hall today?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely chucked it down today, so I hope you didn't get too wet up there. But yeah, it'd be good to see some pictures on Instagram, Facebook and stuff like that of what actually happened, because I did sort of want to go, but I had other commitments, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you were a bit otherwise engaged, weren't you, today? So
yeah.
But yeah, I'd be interested to see. There's a few there's actually a meet company. I say a meet. So my local village, right, obviously down in deepest, darkest Kent, they're doing I'm part of the local car club. Or I haven't actually joined
it. Club.
Yeah, so I went to one of their meets a few weeks ago, the very first one I'd ever been to, and you know, I was the youngest there by at least 20 years, I think, and I'm old. Maybe not 20 years, but by 10 years. But they're really nice people, and they were very welcoming, and they have like a little supper in the pub, and they go through their AGM and off they go, and they said that they're organising a little like a car meet, like a show, a little car show for vintage cars, because it's a vintage car club essentially. As well, I didn't want to compete with vintage as well as the cars, but they're organising it in the village. I think it's on the 28th of May. So if it's a Sunday after, I think it's a Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's a Sunday. Am I making that up? No, I think it is definitely. Or is it the 22nd? Let's have a look. Yeah, it must be. Yes, 28th. Yes, it's
28th May is a Saturday.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not a Sunday, or it is a Saturday, and it is the 28th of May. And but they said if other people want to bring their cars along, because I said I've got 2 TTs, I'd like to bring them along. I said I know they're not vintage or classic yet, but they will be. And they were, yeah, that's fine, bring them along. But if anyone else wants to come along to that meet, I know, Chris, I mentioned it to you as well.
Yeah.
Drop me a message as well, because they said it did need to know the details of people that want to bring it along. But I thought that might almost be like a nice little warm-up for Springfest. Maybe people could come here or whatever, and we could go on to the meet. It might be worth doing. I don't know, but we could have a little but they do need to know the details of cars. So if you are interested in coming along to that, it's in Marden in Kent. So if you want to look at where Marden is, it's right in the middle of Kent, basically, just south of Maidstone and sort of south east of Tunbridge Wells, I suppose, is the way to describe it. So if you fancy come along to it, then do let me know. And particularly if you're Kent based anyway, or south east based, it might be something good to go along and represent a few TTs at. So I think that'd be
it's something to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Something a bit different. The only thing they were I know that I can't. I've got a game actually that evening, so I'd have to leave sort of mid-afternoon to make it up to slap the puck around the ice. But at least I'd like to be there for the majority of it. But if you guys fancy coming along, then do let me know. All right, yeah. Craig said that it was great, and he thinks Don's done a short video covering it. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he said to us the other night. He said he was looking at going to that one, because I think he was saying, "Are we going to it?" But obviously we weren't. And but there's definitely shows coming up I'd like to get out to over the next few weeks if I can. And obviously next Saturday we're going to be a bit busy. So I'm hoping that next Sunday we might have a little video, will we, to go, maybe, depends how quick we edit it down, or Sunday or Monday of next week we might have a little highlights of us driving through the dark roads of Sussex as we head to the coast.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, the thing is, we could try and make our own events this year as well, I think.
I think so. I mean, the thing is, when we're talking about Springfest in my garden, but as long as the weather holds, there's no reason why we can't do other ones or smaller ones. I mean, I've done a 4-car meet yesterday with Alex and Neil, so I'm more than welcome to have people around. We stick the cars in the garden and we can talk TT. Yeah. So if we want to do other things, and I think we talk.
Sorry, Andy.
No, you crack on. You crack on.
There's that pub, isn't there? Was it Cafe in a Machine or something? Is it Cafe in a Machine?
I don't know. Something in coffee, wasn't it? Coffee and cake or something. Or it was.
I thought it was Cafe in a Machine. There's a pub or something, but you could be right.
I don't know, mate.
There seems to be a lot of people go there, like with their you like book like a time slot where your group goes.
Oh, okay.
So I can't remember what it's called. I really can't remember. I thought it was called Cafe Machine, but it could be called something completely different. You know what I mean? I think that might, whatever. And but that would be quite interesting to do that. I don't know where it was.
Okay.
I think it's like Midlands, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is. I think there's one coming up that's just a bit, maybe Oxfordshire way. Is it? Is that Coffee and Machine? Or whatever it is? Is that not Oxfordshire way or somewhere?
But it may be, yeah.
But like Ben say, a Springfest is going to be
Caffeine and Machine. Yes,
there you go. Cheers, Rappy.
Rappy, you've been there, haven't you?
Yeah. What's it like, Rappy? You won't know for a few seconds because obviously it's going to catch up with the chat. But so Ben, you're saying it's going to be a long drive for you for Springfest, yeah? But we'll definitely make sure it's worth your while, mate, because it'll be a good old day. And I say it's not the same for us coming up to Leeds. So
yeah, it's only to cost you £200 in fuel, mate. You'll be all right.
You'll be fine. Yeah, it's all downhill from Leeds, isn't it? I looked on a map, so you just got to push it. Okay. Put it in neutral and just coast along. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And Craig said here, is that event 22? Is that or even TT 22?
Event 22 looks like it. Oh, what's that? Oh, give us some information on that.
Yeah, definitely. Is there
we could be up for that one.
Is there not one next weekend? Is edition 38 not next weekend?
I think Alex going to that one?
I think he was talking about that. Yeah, I think he said it was just a bit up from him. So Alex, I don't know if you're still on the chat or not, but I think you said it was that you were going to edition 38. Edition 38, edition 32. But yeah, I'm sort of booked up next weekend. I've got well, obviously we're busy Saturday, and then I've got other stuff on. So next week, but I will hopefully Stratford upon Avon. Oh yeah,
okay.
Bard Country. Might see William Shakespeare do a little play if we go to that one. Bit of culture for us. There's also I got the I think Howard, I think you sent me the list through, or someone sent me through the list of events that are coming up in Essex. So there's a monthly car meet that comes up in Essex at the Castle Pub. And a couple of months ago, Don went to it, and a few of the TT guys went to it, I think. But they're organising it. I've looked through it. It's a Saturday morning thing.
Okay.
And the next one is actually next Saturday. It's the Saturday we're going to do. So we could have gone to it, but obviously we're doing our little run to Brighton, so we can't do it. But that would have been a good one to go to, I think, and go and see a few cars, see the Essex TTs that are about. So, but yes, it's a pub in Great Leys. It is called. It used to be called St Anne's Castle from back in the day, because obviously being a local boy from there, I know it quite well. But yeah, it's just called the Castle now, I think. But yeah, there's definitely a few meets coming up, I think, and yeah, all good. Do you think this feed has settled down a bit since we restarted it? It seems to have been all right, hasn't it, since?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still a tiny bit laggy, but I think we are it's probably been the best it's been so far.
Yeah, I think so. I'd be interested. Oh, yeah, A10 meet 29th of May.
In Essex.
Yeah, okay. The A10, right. I thought the A10 was more Enfield, but maybe it's quite a way in. But because the A10 goes down, is it about junction 26 or something on the M25? Pretty sure it is. Rolls down through Enfield and that way. Vag Society.
Vag Society, 3rd of July.
Yeah.
I went there last year, Vag Society.
Was it good?
Yeah, no, it was good, actually. I might go this year, actually. Yeah, come on, go this year.
Yeah, my weekends are all a bit sort of booked up at the moment.
What are you doing on the 3rd of July?
I'll have to have a look. I don't own the social calendar. I could have a look, but it's so I've got all my hockey dates on the phone, luckily, so I can have a quick look and see when games are coming up. But it's literally all smashed right up. But
yeah, that was pretty good last year.
No, I'm actually unless it's near Oxford, then I'm all right. So where's that? Where is that one? Is it anywhere near Oxfordshire?
I can't remember now. I've probably got my old ticket here somewhere.
I'm playing against the Oxford Shooting Stars.
10th of July, Gravity. Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I know, Rafi. Oh. I have my tickets for Gravity, but that's Toby and Si's adventure thing as well, the same day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's 2 weeks for Springfest.
So I actually do need to sell my tickets for Gravity, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we are going. I mean, and that's that event for Toby and Si. That's open to everybody. So and they were talking about getting some TTs down for that, weren't they? So we'll have to sort of publicise some details of that on the 10th, because I think that'll be a good day. I think they're having a bit of a barbecue and a few fair rides and stuff, and it's their leaving party essentially for them going off to Turkey and back, 5,000 miles across Europe. That's a lot of miles, isn't it?
It is.
It's a lot of miles.
Would you trust the TT?
Well, if I hadn't modified it, I would, yeah. But he's like ripped everything out of it. He's like taking the PCB out, done N249 delete, N75 delete.
Would you have kept it standard?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely right. Well, the thing is, if you have got it standard and you break down and you roll it into a little garage somewhere in, I don't know, wherever they're going through, Germany or wherever, it's going to be, you say to them, Voss is das, and point at your engine and they can fix it for you. But if you've taken all the pipes out of it, but they know what they're doing. They've done a lot of these journeys before, so hats off to them for doing it. But
definitely.
My personal view would have been I'd have left it as it was.
I would have done it in the Toyota Hilux.
Yeah. I'd have done it in a Boeing 737 and then take me bucket and spade. But that's just me. But
fair play to them.
Yeah, I mean, they're
doing it for a great cause, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I talked about my mate, didn't I, last week, who'd taken the hire car around the Nürburgring. He flew to Iceland afterwards, and he's flown home back to the States now. But I think we need to do that. I think we should take the TTs home, like we said, and even if we trailer them out there or something, take the cars out and take them around the Nürburgring. Do you reckon? Yeah. You want to fancy doing that as a little trip?
Yeah, I'll do that. Do that.
Maybe we do it. Maybe we can have a little. Maybe we can set a little event up on the.
For a nice little long weekend or something, isn't it?
Yeah. See if any of you guys would be interested in coming along on that. Maybe would you be interested in coming along and doing a trip round, a trip out to the Nürburgring and spinning round the Nürburgring? Maybe, I don't know. Might be.
See how many of us come back.
Yeah. Well, I would be driving it very sensibly around the Nürburgring. Although the guy actually took a hire car around there and it was a Mini. Shouldn't give out too much detail to in case they can track him down. But he cooked the brakes and the wheels and the tyres on it. So you'd have to almost go with a set of, I think that's why you see a lot of people. And he said that as they were driving back from the Nürburgring, there were a lot of British registration plates towing cars on the backs of trailers. Now, whether those cars are broken down out there or if they take them out there and they've got a spare set of tyres on spare set of wheels, and so I reckon I could have a set of. I've got like 2 sets of wheels in the garage for the TT,
right,
with tyres on it. So I could always, I've got a spare set of wheels. Put them on a trailer, put the car out there, drive it out there, and swap it over. But then you got to think,
could be interesting, couldn't it?
Maybe we need a project track car, Chris, a track TT that we can take to Nürburgring, and if it breaks down, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it in a hedge somewhere.
Should we take it on a trailer?
Yeah, I reckon we could do it.
I've got a friend with a trailer, and I've got a 4x4.
Yeah, I haven't got a friend with a TT that will donate it to us though. We could have done it in that Roadster. All we need. Let's get that green Roadster. Let's strip it to death and put a new engine in it and everything on it, and take it and watch it fall to pieces on the autobahn. I wouldn't mind driving something like that out there, because then you haven't got to worry, have you? We need something.
Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do like a little challenge thing where we buy a TT for 500 quid.
Yeah, the cheapest TT we can buy.
We take it to the Nürburgring
and see how far we get.
I mean, we do obviously give it like a little service. Maybe change the oil before we get going.
Yeah. But we won't do an N24.
No, we won't do anything like that.
No, we'll just take it standard. We'll take it out there. And we'll pull up to the bumper will be hanging off, and there'll be a bit of lack of peel, but that shouldn't stop us.
It's not going to be the prettiest one there.
No. I reckon we could do that. Take it, have a little trip. Yeah, take that there. Yeah,
it's a brilliant idea.
Get that around the ring. Ben says, "Yeah." Would you bring yours though, Ben? Would you bring yours and take it around the ring? I mean, it does look pretty breathtaking. That taking things around there.
It's worth. And I think it's a good idea taking one that we're not too financially invested in.
Yeah, I think it's something like, I might be wrong, it's either €35 or €50 a lap to do it.
Right.
And I think the guy that I went with, I think he did 7 laps. No, I went with the guy that came to me. So the Mini did make it back. So, he did. Although he did take my bloody Allen key home with him. He asked that he borrowed an Allen key to swap the headlights over, and he took it. And I kept saying, "You are going to leave the Allen key. It's part of a nice, one of those long Allen keys, of part of a nice set." And of course, it's the one that you're always going to need because it's the one that fitted the headlights. So I've lost that now. So I might ask him to post it back to me if he's taking it home. I doubt he has.
Got some more stuff in the feed there.
Yeah. That green one. Yeah. That green one is definitely the car that we would need. I mean, it would be pretty cheap because it was offered to me for nothing in the end.
Maybe that's the way forward.
Wouldn't it'd be interesting, wouldn't it, to get it back here?
Oh, it doesn't work though, does it?
No, we'd have to have it trailered.
We want one that works.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It needs to be running in the first place.
Yeah, it needs to have an MOT, even if it's got a week or 2 weeks left on it.
Yeah, there was a silver Roadster like mine, but it was a couple of years older, and it was for sale through a guy I know, and I think it was up for about, I don't know, maybe about £600 or £800 on eBay, and I think it went for about £1,200 in the end, and it had a few gremlins in the engine. But I think a lot of those engine gremlins might be things we could sort of fix ourselves and get out of it. So if we could get one for about that we can stick. I've got those wheels off the 3.2 still in the garage, so we've got a set of nice wheels and tops. Yeah, obviously they're not the prettiest things. Those Le Mans looking wheels. But I do want to try and give them a bit of a restore. See if I can get them stripped and get them polished up. I was wondering, if you stripped them all off and you stripped it back to bare metal, could you almost like polish the rim to like shiny rim and then lacquer it? Like a bit like a diamond cut would be.
Yeah, like polished alloy, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure you must be able to do it.
Yeah, everything's possible, isn't it?
Because I was thinking about maybe doing those Le Mans as like a polished alloy, and then painting the inserts in them, a bit like Alex and Neil have done today.
Yeah, those look nice, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it was quite. As when I looked at them, obviously Neil's got his colour coded with the car, but Alex has got them grey. He's got like a gunmetal grey rather than the blue of the car. Anything on the feed? Is there much? Yeah, TTs are great, but I don't think I'd be reliable enough to survive the ring. Yeah, it depends how hard you drive it. Surely.
Yeah. Rappy's up for the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
Ben's put Borough Motor Monkeys track car. Get that around the ring. Obviously, Pigeons put the green one.
Yeah.
Craig put Dom's probably got a spare TTs we could use. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yes. He's got loads at the moment, hasn't he?
Maybe we could get him to donate one.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe he can come in on it and we'll do it together.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll take Master Mechanic Bryn as well. We'll do it as a 4-piece, like the Beatles.
Yeah.
But TTs instead. The TT tools instead. There you go. Maybe we can go out there and I don't know which I'll be. I'll be Ringo. I'll beat it with my drumstick.
Alex and Neil are going to Edition 38. It's next Sunday.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a week today essentially.
Yeah.
Neil. Yeah, I know that. We talked about it yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, I'm definitely just checked my little calendar, and I'm definitely double booked next weekend, which is a bit of a pain because I would like to come to that. But
where is it?
Is
it far?
Well, Neil and Alex will probably give us the exact location, but it was literally a bit up from those guys, I think. So it must be up the M1 a little bit. I had think it's like Northampton way for some reason.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it is. Might be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly where it is. So what? If you could, what? I know you've got a red one, Chris. But if your TT could be any colour, what colour would it be?
It would be red, wouldn't it?
Don't say red. What about another colour? Must be another colour. Would you not like? Is there not a colour that makes you go?
I like yellow.
Like the Merlin. Everyone goes, look at the Merlin.
I like yellow. I like solar orange. I like colour.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I do like colour.
I said to Nia and Alex yesterday that the only thing I'd change about my 3.2 is the colour. Don't like it. If I'm perfect, I don't like the colour.
Why not?
It just doesn't. I don't think it suits the TT very well. I think it just looks.
What colour do you want it to be?
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to wrap it. I'm just saying I don't want to wrap it. I'm not going to wrap it.
But maybe you could do a video wrapping it yourself.
No. I'll get Rappy to wrap it. Rappy wraps a TT. But no. I wouldn't wrap it because I've said I want to, change the car. But but that's anything that I always think that. I think like a TT, it needs to be, like you say, a vibrant colour. It needs to be a wow colour. And I think it's just the blue's just a bit like.
There's nothing wrong with it. Maybe once you give it a good detail, like give it a proper machine polished clay bar, do it all properly, it might bring the colour, like brighten up, because it might just be a little bit dull. Maybe the lacquer's a little bit dull at the moment or something.
Yeah, I mean, I've given it a good clean, and I've even like the TT badges on the back of it and the rings, and I've given it a good clean, but it still looks discoloured. I think it's almost like the paint fleck in the paint, because it's that metallic blue. It just has a bit of a, I don't know, I think it just looks a little bit boring. What guys? I know you've all got your own TTs, but what would be your favourite colour? Would you like? I think the yellow is definitely one that really stands out, and everyone wants that. And that what's it called? Not pearl. What's it called? Not pistachio. Not pistachio. Not peach. What's it called? It's
paprika.
What's the the orangey looking one?
Paprika.
I don't know. It's not. Is it paprika? Is that his actual colour?
No, it's some stuff down there.
No, it's not. Someone's going to tell me what it is in the chat, aren't they? What's
it
called? Papaya. That's it.
Yeah, Ben's got it there. Papaya.
Nice one, Ben. Do you know what? That's quick off the mark. Paprika. Isn't that red?
It's paprika, isn't it?
You've got red on the brain, mate. Honestly. Paprika. That's what you sprinkle on your crisps. Yeah, paprika's not what it is. Yeah, papaya, that's it. Everyone likes the papaya, don't they? That seems to be the. But that to me, when I think of papaya, I think I'm like driving the car through Florida, and I'm like I'm going to appear on an episode of Miami Vice. That looks to me like a Miami Vice car. It's all a bit 80s retro, I always think, the papaya. But the yellow, they're like, I don't know what would be classed as Daytona yellow, or what's the yellow called? It's got an actual name in it, the yellow. I think Daytona yellow is
Mark III's, it's called Vegas yellow on a Mark III.
Vegas yellow,
That's what Craig Balls put down.
Well, it's definitely quite showy, isn't it? So it probably is Vegas yellow. It is. It's definitely that's probably my favourite, I think. I think there's I saw a really good one at Simply Audi. Did you see that yellow one that was parked a little bit along from us, but in TT Addicts? I was speaking to the guy that owned it. I said, that's possibly the best conditioned Mark 1 I've seen, and I've seen a lot of Mark 1s now. Was that the paintwork on it was immaculate, and the guys that were just in front of him, who were coming to Springfest, they'd sort of said to me, look at that yellow one, because it was just and it was really nice,
immaculate.
Yeah, and just parked behind that was a Mark II, and it had a great number plate because it had the Welsh flag on the end of it, and I was like, loving that, because unfortunately, obviously, I am through birth, I am Welsh parentage. Even though I grew up in Essex, and I'm driving around with England number plates on my 3.2, and I'm like, I've got to change that, because anyone that knows me is I am even though I'm in disguise, I'm a very passionate Welshman when it comes to my nation, and I do need to get those England badges off my car, because it does make me cry every time I see it, even though my wife's English and my kids are English, so they're half English, but I need to whenever the rugby's on, my brother-in-law always points at the number plates and laughs. So, anyway. Yeah, what other favourite colours you guys got? Is there anything in the chat about colours, or have we all exhausted the colours now after the papaya and the Merlin? No one mentioned the Merlin, did they, in the chat? I thought people would be all over the Merlin.
No, that one's...
Because, I mean, I've only seen a couple of Merlins. And when I say a couple, I don't know if it's the same one, but when we went to Dom's meet, there was a Merlin there, parked next to a yellow one, funny enough. And then when we went to
yellow.
Which one?
Craig Balls put a molar yellow Mark 1 at Stafford. I wonder if that's the same one as Simply then, with 12,000 miles on the clock.
Wow, that is low
on original tyre as well. I probably would be on the original days because they'd be well out of date.
Right. When I hear about cars like that, so when I bought my silver TT and it had 70,000 miles on the clock, I'd asked a friend of mine who's a car dealer. I didn't say I was going to tell this story, but I'm going to tell it now because it does upset me, and I feel I'm going through therapy when I talk about it. But when I bought the silver one, I'd asked a mate of mine to look for a TT, find me a TT in a good condition that I wanted. I wanted a Roadster, and bought mine. And I basically said to him, I don't need you to look now because I've got one. But if anything comes up that's amazing, let me know. So roll the clock forward a couple of months, and I was quite happy with mine at this point. I thought it's quite a nice car. He said, "I've got a car for you." I said, "What is it?" So he had a 225 Roadster. It'd been owned by one person, and he was taking it as a trade-in. Right, it had one lady owner, and it had 27,000 miles on the clock. Right. So this is going back to 2018, right? Anyway,
how much was it?
I can't even talk about it. Basically, he said it's no good to me because it's not what he sells lots of like small cars. The lady had taken as a trade-in against whatever he was selling, and I could have had it for $2,500, right?
Was it a 225?
A 225 Roadster.
Oh, you should have got it.
And it had 27,000 miles on the clock, and he offered it for me $2,500, and I didn't take it. And
that's bad.
And a few, I went to his 50th birthday about 6 weeks ago, and I said, "Chalky, do you remember that car you had that I turned you down on?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Did you sell it in the end?" He said, "Yeah, some guy came and took it off me," and you could tell he was rubbing his hands. I said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you know how much that car would be worth now?" A 27,000 mile. You see these cars, don't you, that pop up on the various sales sites. There's like a pristine one. It's on one of those little spinny wheels going around the showroom, and they're 5 figures, easy 5 figures on a 27,000 mile car. A 225 Roadster. What do we reckon that would go for? What? Probably 12, 15 grand. Or it'd be priced at. I bet you. On that low miles would be in like an immaculate car. One lady owner, and I turned it down. I have told that story in some form to Dom, and he says that there's always one that gets away. I'm like, yeah, and that one definitely did get away because that would have been an amazing car to pick up. But I feel like I've got it off my chest now. I feel like I'm a weight's been lifted, so I haven't got to cry anymore. But imagine having that. That would be an amazing car.
I mean, I've been looking at some Roadster V6 ones.
Right.
And
oh yeah, you're keeping this a bit quiet, aren't you? What are you looking
only
at?
just like browsing off certain
why not buy it?
websites, and I've been able to have a little look and stuff. And I can't believe the price on them. Like, to get something with really good miles on it.
Yeah.
They're so expensive.
When you're saying good miles, quantify good miles. What you're looking at?
60k.
Okay. Anything under 70k is a lot of money. Easy.
Yeah.
I'd say easy.
But the price, I find the price with the V6s are very all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can get some for like $3,500, which is still quite a lot of money.
More than I paid.
It's more than you, but yours was an absolute bargain, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you see them up to about $12,000.
Yeah. I think you're pitching a 3.2 right now, and they all seem to have the same miles. They've all got 107,000 miles on them, right? That's right. What they all seem to have that for some reason, pitched around the mark. And I don't know if that's because that's what mine had it when I bought it, and that's why I think that's what they're all pitched around at. But 107,000 miles, you're probably looking online right now. They're advertising of a DSG about $4,500, I reckon. So if you're if you're looking for a 60,000 mile car, if you're getting it for less than $6,500, I think you're doing well. Literally,
yeah, no,
I think that's where it's at, and it's interesting because you get a lot of cars that are $3,500, and they've got 132 on the clock. Yeah. And then you find out they're on their first set of chains.
Exactly, that's the thing, isn't it?
And they're rattling more than a Salvation Army charity can. Literally, it's like.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And we know, don't we, from testing the chains that, you know, we've done the test. We know what that's about. So I reckon secretly you're looking to get a third TT, and I reckon you're looking for a 3.2.
If I get another one, it will be a V6 and probably be a roadster, because I haven't got a roadster.
Yeah.
And I haven't got a V6.
I know.
So the thing is, if I bought a V6 coupe, then I've still got to buy a roadster.
I know someone that lives in your house that would like to get a V6 coupe. Am I right?
Maybe.
Yeah. I think she would like you to get a roadster.
Yeah. So that could happen. What's size put here? Are they red, Chris? Yes, they're quite funny. Yeah, I have been looking at red ones, but I would possibly take a different colour. But obviously, red would be preference.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to have 3 red TTs.
Yeah. I'd miss that comment from Ben about the paint on my face. Yeah, that might just be my face, though. To be fair, Ben, because it's got. I make Al Pacino look attractive nowadays with the amount of scars I've got on my face. But yeah, it is a very, very painful thing to talk about, because it's not because I would have probably bought it and sold it, because I would more have like bought it and put it in the garage and then gone, oh, look how much it's worth now. Or look how much it's worth now. Shall I sell it now? I'll hold it for another year. Look how much. But like we all know, as anything, prices can go up and they can come down.
They can.
But I don't think they are going to now. I think I think all second-hand cars over the last 2 years, because of COVID and like no one can get parts for cars, have gone up. Everything's gone up. Everything's gone up in price. So I think inflation's had its say on it. But I think the 3.2, the Mark 1, I think now, because they're getting less and less common, that they're not going to come down in price. And I think you're always going to get the old shunters knocking around for 800 quid that need like a new car putting into them, because there's that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Left. But I think you're also going to, you know, I always look at it like the Fords right now, the hot hatch Fords from back in the day. Honestly, if you can pick up a hot hatch Ford now for anything like we're talking about TT money, I think you are doing very, very well. And that's again, I wish I'd kept hold of all of mine now, but obviously you can't at the time because you trade them in and you do other things. But I wish I'd kept a lot of mine now and stuck them in the garage. And
I had 2 XR2s and they're stupid money now.
Yeah, I had an RS 1800i, Fiesta Mark III on a K plate in white. It's no longer on the road. I have looked it up many times, hoping it'll be out there still, and it's still not out there. It's definitely not out there. And I think there's something crazy like 17 of them left or something now. There's that few of them left. Well, I call it the RS 1800i. So when it's a bit off topic for TTs, but there was the Mark III Fiesta, and it had like an XR2, and then they did, and it had a 1600 CVH engine, and then they did the XR2i 16 valve, which is what mine essentially was, but it had the 1800 Z-Tech engine in it, which was
130 brake horsepower,
something like that, and that Z-Tech engine was what they put in the RS 1800. And the wheels were slightly different, so I call it an RS 1800, but it was essentially an XR2i 16 valve, but with the 1.8 lump in it. So there wasn't many of them about, and they were all white, near enough. They felt like, but they didn't. You know, they used to have a blue stripe around the XR2,
around the bumpers and stuff.
Yeah. The 8 valve 1.6 engine, they all seemed to be white and had the blue. So my one didn't have that blue stripe. It was like, so it always looked like an XR2i in disguise, but it didn't have the Recaro seats that the RS 1800 had, and it had like the seats ended up going in the SI, which I always thought was blasphemy. It was the same seats in the SI, but anyway, I'm going off topic talking about my Fiesta, but that was a great car anyway, but not as greatly engineered as the German cars, which I think is why they're still around, because those Fords all rotted away. That's why there's none left, because they're all now like a Coke Zero can somewhere, because they've all just been repurposed, and whereas the Audis are still going, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
And they're white tweezers, I might add. Do we know if the other Audis have got stuff like that? I know the TT is engineered to within an inch of its life, but are the others works of art like that? Because I don't know enough about other Audis. So things like the A4s and the A3s, do they have similar
the fuse
features?
Boxes I wonder if they're all in the same sort of location. I know the Mark II TT is the same as the Mark 1, got the fuse box fuse board at the side of the dash. But yeah, be interesting to see if the other models are the same.
But that design where it has that round circle with the dots in it, like almost looking like screw holes, that doesn't go over to the Mark II, does it? So the Mark I's got that throughout, but the Mark II hasn't got those features, has it?
Has the what? Sorry.
You know, like on the door caps, the little caps on the door, which got the little round silver things with the dots on it.
No, it doesn't. It just has the alley cap sort of things.
Right.
The alley handles, not the caps, though, not the caps on it.
So that design feature's obviously not been transitioned across to the Mark II then.
It's got the round vents, so you got in the round vents, the air vents in the Mark 1.
I forgot to mention those. That's another thing that's that design feature, isn't it? That's got that. Is there anything else that's got those those features? It's like there's the petrol cap. There's the door cap, the door card, the door handle hole things, the little bits on the cup holder, the vents, the gear knob.
The vents, the gear knobs.
Is there anything else? Is there like that?
You've got the round little sort of trim on the steering wheel as well, haven't you? The little sort of alley trim on the steering wheel.
Yeah, but there isn't.
And you've got the alley pedals as well, haven't you?
Yeah, you have. Yeah, but they're funny because they've got like bars going across them, aren't they? They're funny old things. My accelerator pinged off, but they're like a rubber back thing, aren't they? So if you're careful, you can hook them back over because they don't all sort of fall apart.
Right.
But I am going to I do want to take my seats out again because my seats are then it's weird that they, you know, that little pumpy handle on the side. The pumpy handle definitely works, and bizarrely, my Roadsters, even though the rod, which I think is would you class it as like the pistons sort of thing that adjust the height, I couldn't adjust it, and I thought, the piston's gone in it because it's gone. It was like about 130 quid to replace, so I didn't bother. Then it started working again this week.
No.
So I'm like, well, it's not failed then, is it? But then it stopped working again. So it's like there must be something that's either jumping out of that piston that's making it pump as such. Because obviously if you give it too much welly, you're going to end up breaking the handle off. And I think Si's got some he's got some handles he's made for it, or had made, that or bought. I think he bought them actually, but they're quite a nice little feature on it. So but yeah, have you got any plans to do anything to your engine? Are you going to do that intercooler, or are you going to leave it?
I'm going to do an intercooler.
You are going to do it?
Yeah. I'm going to try and get the engine forged this year.
Are you? So how long will that be off the road for if you did something like that? Is it like days or is it like weeks?
The place that I'm thinking of going to use, it's a drive-in, drive-out rod job, it's called.
Right, okay.
So they say it's about 2 to 3 days.
Right.
So I'll go there, I'll get obviously forged rods put in, new head gasket, new timing belt and water pump kit fitted. Obviously the engine gets serviced as well. Then I drive home all with new cam back on and forged rods and happy days.
Yeah, because that's the thing, isn't it? That if you like some parts on the engine, like you take it into these like if the cylinder head goes or whatever, it needs skimming. You can take it to places and they put you give them your cylinder head or whatever, and they give you a replacement one in its plate. It's like a swap the part out, isn't it? So a light for light. But I'd imagine with engines, a lot of like the TT stuff, it's probably not like that. I guess you have your engine forged and your head will be skimmed and whatever. Because I guess they'd skim their head, whatever, wouldn't they, if they were doing that with a new head gasket?
I'm sure they're definitely. Well, I'd hope they would if it was warped. But yeah, I mean, obviously they obviously do it quite regularly, so obviously they know what they're doing. So just let them crack on with it.
It's not like a swap out thing though, where you take your engine, give them your engine, you get another engine back. Because obviously they've all got different miles on them, haven't they? That's the thing. Exactly. So there's a lot of bits to take off.
No, I think they do use your engine. So maybe in those few days, but they've probably got another company, or maybe they skim their heads themselves or something. But obviously, I'll film it when it comes to the time. So you can see what process actually gets done.
Yeah.
And what parts get reused and what doesn't.
Yeah, I think there's there'd definitely be some benefit in that, because I think there are a lot of people out there that talk about, they want to go up stage 2 or stage 3, and then you see a lot of people saying you will bend rods if you go beyond.
I think the rods are good for, is it 300 brake or 300 pounds of torque, but even after a good stage 1 map, you can be up to 280. So you're nearly there anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it's just you just do it. it's done, and then you haven't got to worry about it again, have you?
No, that's the thing, isn't it? So it'll get you all the way through to to what is the highest powered TT you've seen?
1200.
Right, 1200 horsepower TT.
Yeah.
Whose is that?
Well, I've seen it on YouTube, isn't it?
Oh, right, okay.
I haven't actually seen it in person, but I've seen a 1200 brake one.
Okay. Right.
That was a Mark II RS.
Right.
Mark 1.
Yeah, I'm talking...
On the Mark 1 basis, I think when you go through... Because I did join the group of the... was it the big turbo versions on Facebook group. And actually, no, saying that, I've seen one. I think Bryn he done a clutch video on a TT, and I'm sure this guy was running a 500 or 600 horsepower.
Right.
And that was why he was going through clutches and gearboxes.
Yeah, that might do it. That's a lot of talk. Talking the talk.
I know.
I say we got a few questions coming. Like Jan Bacardi's put question, guys. Mark 1 drivers inside door handle have to leave it twice to open. Any ideas why? You mean when you actually pull the like the door handle, like the door release? Do you mean on that, Jan Bacardi? I guess you do. Yeah, Neil's off to bed. Cheers, Neil. Great seeing you. Neil. Great seeing you yesterday, mate. That was great to catch up and thanks for your tree advice, because Neil was a tree surgeon in his previous job, so we were talking all about that because I've also got my ticket and
I think Ben's just mentioned the one that I've just mentioned. Yeah, there's a chat with the 600. Yeah, red one. Yeah, I think that's the one, Ben.
There you go. Badger 5 doing nice replacement engine starting at 7k. Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't looked on their site and. Yeah, I think I was going to go to Badger 5 for that. I'd probably go for the Stroker kit as well, which I think takes it up to about a 2.1 or a 2 litre or something.
And I guess we're talking Mark 2s there, are we?
No, Mark 1.
A 2.1 litre Mark 1?
Yeah, they do Stroker kits.
Off the 1.8 lump?
Yeah, they bore the 1.8 lump out.
That's a lot, isn't it? What about putting a turbo? Lot. Some people talk about putting a turbo on the 3.2.
Yeah, people do that. Apparently, they take it well.
I don't know.
They supercharge them, turbo them.
Right, so when you put your foot down on a turbo, it starts to drink fuel, doesn't it? Essentially, because that's when it starts burning things at a faster rate.
It's throwing more fuel in, more.
So you're going to
needs more fuel.
You're going to get the worst of both cars, then, aren't you? Because you'll be doing gallons to the mile rather than miles to the gallon on that. Because if you're doing a 3.2 plus the putting your foot down, that's going to be a nuts job, absolutely nuts job. But yeah, so $7,000 for the engine. So what you could do then is you could go and pick up that green Roadster I was looking at for free, and you could put a $7,000 engine in it, maybe a $3,000 brake conversion. Maybe a few intercoolers on it as well. Maybe some new doors, some new brake lines, a few new wheels, and you could change out of $20,000, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I said to you in that last live we've done. I said I didn't want the Mark 1 going over $15,000, and you can see why now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because things will add up.
Yeah, I see Ben's, but you could supercharge a 3.2 nicely. Yeah. Have you done it though, Ben? That's the thing. Have you done it?
And are you going to do it, Ben?
Would you do it? Would you do it? It's very expensive to do. Yeah. I get that. Yeah, that's the thing in it. It's like, where do you stop? Where do you stop? And I think there's a lot of stuff you can do as well that I still think. I know that it's been done for many years, but there's a lot of stuff that's questionable. So if you do it, you could potentially do, you could pay a bit of money to have something done, and it'll end up finishing your engine off. There's lots of, it's like you say, if you push, because the more engine power you're putting out of that engine, the faster it's going to go, the more stopping power it needs. So then you need to upgrade the brakes, but the more power you're putting through that engine, the more torque you're putting through it, you're putting a load through the gearbox and the clutch. That's got to go up. So that's what you've got. I think you've almost got a budget for these upgrades. Is that if you're upgrading
the props,
one
the
part,
drive shafts, everything.
mate, it'd be spend like, it'd be like never ending, wouldn't it? I'm just going to do this bit, to make it a bit quicker. But
I mean, I was said to Sarah Jane, I said, do you know what I really, really want to do? I said, do you know what I want to do to the Mark 1? But I said, I want to put a TTRS engine in it. I want to put the 5-pot in one. So then they'll be straight out of the box, 400 brake horsepower on a standard engine.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought...
Won't stop, though.
No, it won't stop. But the thing is, what I'll do is buy a crashed one.
Right. Crashed TTRS, crashed TTRS, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Crashed TTRS. Then I've got all the brakes. I've got all the wiring loom.
Right.
I've got the gearbox. I've got the engine.
Would that fit on a Mark 1, though? Would that fit? Or would you make it...
there'll probably be some fabrications to get it in there.
Yeah, I reckon.
But everything's possible. But then if you look at a crashed Mark, because it'd have to be a Mark 3, because that's the 400 brake engine. The Mark 2 RS engine, I think, is 360 brake.
Yeah.
But I'm probably talking about 20, 30 grand buying a crashed car.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it, is it?
No.
But it would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a lot of money to invest in doing that to a car, though, isn't it? Just think, just...
It would be nice to get a 5-pot under the bonnet.
Yeah. It would be a bit of a lunatic car, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. But I've only ever seen one, and I literally Googled it to see if it had been done before.
Right.
And only one came up, and it was for sale because they hadn't finished it. Right. So there's not really one on the road.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, innit? I think you've almost got to, if you're going to go out on a limb like that and do like what I class as a pioneer car, you're going to go and do something for the first time. I think you can't really go into it and say, I'm going to spend 10 grand on this car. I'm going to finish it. Because it won't cost you 10 grand. It will cost you a lot more than that.
It'll be stupid.
Yeah, I don't.
I could see it being 50, 60 grand by the time you're done.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, what you're left with, a Mark 1.
A Mark 1 that's...
Very fast. Very fast in a straight line, doesn't stop. And
no, because I take the brakes off the RS as well.
Yeah,
so it had the same brakes.
And it chews gearboxes like it's...
They have the same gearbox as well. off the RS. So it's just not worth doing it, though.
Thing. No.
It's just not worth it.
Well, do you know what? Talking of taking bits off other cars, and it's a shame he's gone to bed now, but like Neil's green, his Goodwood green 225 he's got, that most of the bits that are on that car have all come off one car. So his pole position, so although I think his pole positions might have come off a different car, but like his rear bumper came off it, and like, loads of bits at the back came off the car, because it was a crashed Quattro. Well, I don't know if it was it was a Quattro Sport. He basically he'd seen some bits on eBay and he'd driven up and bought all these bits off it. But he was saying the back of the pole positions are colour coded to the colour of the car. So, so the pole positions he's got are like almost like Ava Silver. They're like an Ava Silver colour. So I guess it must have come out of an Ava Silver Quattro Sport.
Yeah.
But I said, are you going to wrap them, or are you going to you're going to paint them? But he's not going to do that. But he thought about it. But most things are sort of colour matched on his car anyway, aren't they? They're all that lovely Goodwood green.
Yeah.
Which I think
it's a lovely TT one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's actually a standard colour, I guess. I've not seen many others about, though. That's the thing. That Goodwood green, are you aware of that being a standard colour?
No, I don't really see that many of them, if any.
Well, Alex had mentioned he'd seen one in Goodwood green when they first came out, in a Roadster one with, I think it's with tan leather. But I'd never seen a car that green before. Well, not
they're quite rare, aren't they?
Yeah, if they are about.
Yeah.
But,
definitely.
But yeah. Yeah, I might wrap it up in a minute, guys, because I'm.
We've got blimey. We've got 2 hours.
2.5 hours, yeah. Unfortunately, although I might have to trim it up a bit because we have the start of it. Obviously, we've given out with a bum feed, really, haven't we? Because it was all laggy and jerky. But I'm not sure what I changed to make it work better. But it's definitely been worked better since. And I don't think it's as far behind either, is it? It doesn't seem to be as lagging as much because people are answering our questions as they're coming through.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's like it's caught up, isn't it?
Yeah. So very strange. But from my perspective, guys, I want to thank you all the ones that have stayed on for the whole session. well done on that, listening to us drone on for 2.5 hours. But I hope you found it interesting into our sort of like worlds at the moment. And I say we are going to do another one of these. We might, probably not next week because we've got quite a bit on, but it'd be but maybe in a couple of weeks' time we'll do another one when we've got plenty more to talk about. And obviously we'll talk about Springfest as well, because there's a lot more details to come about that and things we've got planned for it, which I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in my back garden. And I might go off to bed now and celebrate my hat trick that I scored tonight. Go on, the Renegades! Hey. Even at 48, I can still score. We won 12-4 tonight, and I got a hat trick, so I was quite happy with that. I've not scored a hat trick in about 25 years, so on that logic, I'll score the next one at 73. I don't think anyone will turn up if that was happening, but yeah, very good. Yeah. Anyway, guys.
Yeah, thanks, people.
Enjoy your bank holiday tomorrow. Stay safe on the roads. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll catch you soon, yeah?
Yep.
Take care, all.
All right. Cheers.
See you later. Bye.
Nice one, Andy.